that you should know who your potential consumers are before you go into production. And I said that don't jump into any of the value chain activity unless you have done some assignments. And that when you're an entrepreneur, you don't necessarily or compulsorily have to be a farmer. That you can take your activity along any node of the value chain. I said value chain are activities that involve, all the activities involve from when you plant your crop till you get to the table of the people that want to consume it. All those activities are what we call value chain activities. So, a producer, even an input supplier, you want to produce cassava, for example. An input supplier, you need agrochemicals, you need cassava stems. An input supplier is an agripreneur. You can decide that you want to be, an agripreneur supplying inputs to farmers. You can decide to go into production itself. That means you are a producer. You may decide that I don't even want to produce, I don't have access to land, I don't have adequate knowledge of, I'm not comfortable with the transportation aspect. I want to be a transporter. How do you get like vehicles that you can use to help move commodities from where they are produced to where they will be needed? You are also an agripreneur. You may decide you want to be a processor. I want to be, gather all this together, maybe into maize, for example. I want to gather maize together in large quantities and supply to maybe a poultry feed company, or supply to people that make cornflakes, or any of the other companies that make use of agri-products. They are also an agripreneur. You can be a processor, you can be a marketer, maybe a wholesale. Oh, I want to be selling this thing in bags. I will connect with the people where they are selling it. I will be a distributor. So people can come and collect from me. Or I want to be a retailer. You can belong to any aspect of the value chain. So long as you understand the value chain you are working on. Are we in class? Yes. Please, I don't want us to see this as just one of those activities. They just say we come and listen, let's listen and let's go. Pick something, however small. As an entrepreneur, you can find strength in any of the nodes that you feel you want to belong to, and then be in that node. So that's the much I said. I also mentioned to us that we are talking about cereal crops and the maize and cassava, sorghum, and all the other crops, because these are food security crops. I stated that there is nobody in Nigeria as it is today. If you have not eaten rice this morning, you probably eat it in the afternoon. If you don't eat it in the afternoon, you eat it in the evening. Am I lying? The same thing with sorghum and maize. You can take it in different forms. Maybe you want to use it as take it as a cup. Maybe you want to take it as pap, or in whatever form. So these are, when you're talking about marketing, you look at what you want to market. Does it have any significant value? You're talking money here. You're not going to choose a commodity that will not sell. And so your choice of commodity as a market person should be informed by the demand. That's what I mean by saying the market should drive whatever you are doing. How will you want to make money and go and start marketing a commodity that is not universal, so to say, in Nigeria? You want to go into Indomie marketing. How many people are using Indomie? Yes, yes. Okay, kí n máa sọ Yorùbá náà. Àwọn kan tán láwọn ò gbọ́ Yorùbá. Ẹ̀yin dẹ̀ gbọ́ Yorùbá. Ẹ gbọ́ Yorùbá. Ẹ gbọ́ Yorùbá. Ẹ gbọ́ yes. So, business la bá fẹ́ ṣe. Ó gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ business ṣe pé á mú owó wọlé fún wa. You know, the job to business, like ọkọ wò pé àwọn gbogbo wọn ló máa jẹ́ potential customers. Mo ṣe ń ṣàlàyé pé tábàlà fẹ́ máa ṣòwò rẹ̀, for example, a fẹ́ máa ṣe cassava, ẹ̀gẹ́, àbágbàdo, ẹni pé ojúmọ́ kan ò mọ̀ ká má rí family tí ò ní jẹ ráì pàtó ẹ̀. Báàjẹ́ láàárọ̀ wa máa jẹ lọ́sàn. We need to different ones. A lè ṣe pẹ̀lú ẹ̀wà, a lè ṣe jollof rice, a lè ṣe white rice. We cook it in different forms. This is just a recap of what we did last week. I mean, it's not good for us to have a class and at the end of the day, our class, people are forgotten. These are things that's why this class should be more of interaction. These are things that should be at our fingertips. Kì í ṣe pé bóyá fẹ́ kọ exam or rẹpẹtẹ lábà òfin à ọtí kí n ṣìkà fi ní. People are very important. So because we are in the marketing and transportation class, I took us to 3 modules last week. You can remember the module. 3 sessions, sorry. The module is on marketing and transportation. Please, it's on you. Let's see. Let's see. So these are the modules that I discussed. Foundation of civil transport and marketing. This is just a summary of what I just told you. The importance of civil and pàtàkì àwọn property decide láti lò ní session bíi maize, sorghum, millet, rice. Why I choose àwọn òyìnbó fún sọlá rẹ pé these are a very essential food. Àwọn ojúlówó oúnjẹ tá à ń jẹ ní Nàìjíríà. Tí o bá fẹ́ ṣòwò, á ṣe nǹkan tó yẹ kó wúlò kí á mú wá. Nǹkan tí ò bá jọjú tí ò pọ̀ fúlà, èèyàn kì í ṣe business nínú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀. Tó yé wa, àwọn oúnjẹ tó kọ́mọ̀ tó ṣe pé tí o bá fẹ́ ṣòwò ẹ̀ ìlú lè fi dáfẹ́. Then we also talked about the value chain, which I was saying, that whatever you do, it's like a road map. Gbogbo ọ̀nà tí ó ń gbogbo nǹkan tá a máa ṣe tó ṣe máa fi dé òkúté mi. And I'm saying that when I give premium, you can belong to any of these value chains and still make money there. You can be a producer, there's an input supplier there, which is not indicated in the value chain, but it's also a very key area of the value chain. You can be a producer, you can be a transporter, you can be somebody that has a warehouse, which I'm going to talk about this morning. You can be involved in grading and sorting, processing. I don't know, for my grade, for my sort that. It's a business. The master is you. You could be a marketer. And then the consumer, of course, is the last link in the value chain. I said that when the link is weak, when you have a link that is weak, it reduces your problem. I also mentioned that a strong link does what? Increases your income. For example, if you incur a lot of money in your transportation activity, it's going to increase the price at which you sell, and of course your profit margin will be too. Poor roads, bad timing, spoilage, all these. So last week we talked about the transport and the type of them. We talked about choosing the right transport and what you should do when you are stored. Okay? Once you are waiting for that to come up,
Happy to see you again. Honestly, I'm shocked with the faces that are in the class. I'm not shocked because the class is small, back to the truth. But I'm shocked with the faces that are in the class. As I always say, I always think of when people are saying that this man not a serious man. I'm being sincere. But here, that's American that I'm shocked. I'm shocked. Thank you so much. And what we are doing now, like what we did yesterday, that is the chance to come from your training. I got me as become a kind of a farmer. It's very hard for me to put my money or say I want to that. And I'm making my money from agriculture. What we did yesterday, what we are doing now, that's a cheap area where we can make the money from agriculture. Nothing concerns you. Let the farmer think it's all from not scourging us to bring the product. Let the farmers give the sun no one now. Let the farmers be under the sun from March till around 7 October the next period. But if you understand this value chain, you just gather your capital, set out by September. Become an hour become so that. Make your good money. And less risk. Nothing concerns you whether rain fall or rain break or cross break. Nothing concerns you. This is the core of this training. I'm shocked for the number of people for any reason. Not because of the discipline. How much is that stipend? Who knows how much? 1 house, please. At least people that have received, that's what you receive. And I think for that 22,500 transportation is like I think 5,500, 17,000 for your refreshment. So what magnitude is that to what you are getting? And I keep assuring you that you will get this. If you are not going to get this, you won't make anything to continue with this thing. You are talking from so relax. That's stipend, they call it stipend. So if some just time because of that stipend won't come again. So I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Like yesterday, sooner or later, don't really change it that from you are going to get, you must get it. You don't need to say it. You must get it. You must relax. Get what you're supposed to get. Get it. We get the hand or whatever at the end of the day. But if you need this explanation in the class, you may read and never understand. So pay attention to what you are going to do for the year. Thank you so much. They said they will upload them on the page. So if we decide to give you handouts now, some of you will deliberately apply and not come to it. We will give you both soft copy and hard copy. Everything.
Now we have to take the BID. Pàtẹ́wọ́ fún wọn lórí ìgbéga application. Àbí wọn dábàá tẹ́wọ́ ní. Okay, thank you so much. I was going through the one we see before. Please go to the next slide. Okay, then after I spoke about choosing the right hand, and that if you have actually done a very good work as a farmer now, and you do not factor in transportation, you do not the effort in it. All of us is practice. Alright, the next thing. I thought about this as well. Now when we are in, and the way we handle our transport and our commodity transportation is very important. And that somebody has successfully planted and nurtured ó ti gbìn nǹkan dáadáa, ó ti wù dáadáa, ó rèrè tó pọ̀ pé ó jẹ́ pé lọ́dún transportation pẹ̀lú wọ́n ṣe ìlera kò sáyé àwọn tí yẹn mú ráyà sí. Never I told you that even this plant àwọn náà máa dey require. Ṣé mo ṣiṣẹ́ rántí pé mo sọ bẹ́ẹ̀? So dáàbò àyè fún wọn láti ní àti gbogbo ẹ̀ papọ̀. Bọ́lá jáde lórí òkú nígbèrè làwọn fẹ́ gbèsè bẹ́ẹ̀ ni. Tó jẹ́ pé mo dáa ti ń ṣe transportation kí dáa ti ń lọ pọ̀. Àtọ̀ àdìkádà àyípadà bóyá ti gbé sí ìgbà tí transport náà ti wá bóyá bí ló tún ti gbé lọ wọ́n ti kọ́ ìfi tó yẹ kó transport rẹ̀ láàrin kílómítì mẹ́ta òde tó ń lọ ọ̀nà bílẹ̀ ọ̀sẹ̀ kan bóyá ọ̀nà ò dá bóyá mọ́tò dá gbé sí táyà ẹ̀ ní pọ́ọ̀tù bóyá ọ̀kan náà dá dúró tó yẹ pé ìgbà tí commodity tó jáde ẹ̀ fún command very high price ní market bàbá mi dé ọjà báyìí ó ti dà fújà ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ń bàjẹ́ ó sì dààmú ìlú tí ẹ̀kẹ́ wò ó ẹni pé ọ̀rọ̀ òtán sí pé káwọn produce that the way we handle them during transportation is very important and this is just a summary of what we did the last slide the next slide today we are going to talk about this we are going to talk about warehouse and storage basics. I'm not going to bore with this. Like I said, I have 9 modules to discuss with us. We discussed 3 of them, which I just did a recap of. I want to talk about warehouse and storage basics. Why do you want to talk about this? Remember what the PI said the other time? Àwọn ní àgbàdo àwọn rí pé àgbàdo àtàdá àwọn kò command the good price kí ló ṣe ìgbà kan wá tó ẹ̀ nígbà tí ló wá tún ṣẹlẹ̀ lẹ́yìn yẹn lẹ́yìn gbọ́ sórí yìí mọ̀ bóyá ẹ̀kọ́ dáadáa ìgbà tí wọ́n á fẹ́ rà kí ló wá ṣẹlẹ̀ ó ti appreciate ẹ̀yìn yàtọ̀ tó appreciate bá ṣẹlẹ̀. Didn't talk about that something. He mentioned something which you do not take note of. And as students, you should take note of things that people say and read it within the line. Wọ́n láwọn tán wá rà láì tó wọ́n wò gbé àgbàdo yìí kì í ṣe kò dàbí àgbàdo wọn sọ ní ọdún méje tàbí mo parọ́. Ó dàbí pé wọn ṣe àgbẹ̀ ìṣẹ̀ sí àyè. Ṣé ẹ̀rọ kó májìkì ni? Ẹ̀rọ kó májìkì ló kàn dédé ṣẹlẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀. Kéèyàn tọ̀ ọmọ méjì kó wá dàbí nǹkan lẹ́sẹ̀ abẹ́sì ṣe rò pé ó dédé ṣẹlẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ó dédé ṣẹlẹ̀ it's not accidental it's because he knows that if he sells that place at that time kò ní fún wọn ní owó tó jọjú and for him to be able to sell wọ́n lè tà ní owó tó jọjú yẹn àwọn náà láti put effort in it and that effort what he did by keeping it in a good, giving it a good warehousing. We are talking being smart about what we are doing. Because anybody ló lè gbin àgbàdo. Ó lè dá wọn nìkan kọ́ ni wọn àgbàdo wọn. Wọ́n kàn fún tẹ́lẹ̀ náà kan fẹ́ já kábàdo yẹn pamọ́ tó bá ti ṣe yàrá ìta. People will not store it under the same condition. People can have the same quantity of meat, but they will not command the same prices. Because quality won't matter. Ẹni tó tó ẹ̀ ṣábìlì tí ò tẹ̀ bíkà tó wá fún ẹni báyà And to very no. Oh, my God, you will not go for something there for a product. Nobody lè torí gbèsè. Of course, the gbèsè máa mú bí àti lọ́nà. So people want value for the money they are placing on it. And so as a smart business, as a business, you can also decide to have, go into warehousing as an agri-premium for farmers to come and put their wares there. That's to do so that everyone warehousing, you'll be charging. But that's good. You want back fair tax. You price back their bit. You will release it back for them. But you know that you are going to be charging maybe per week, maybe per day, for as long as they are keeping commodity there. They are also making your own money.
I am assistant facilitator for this class. So don't mind if I'm coming in like this. She's mentioning something on warehousing that's in charge of. I was at a shutdown Plateau State around December last year to put a bag of rice pouch in the warehouse. I think it's a 1,000 naira per month. And if you have a warehouse that can store 1,000 bags, that means you'll be making 1 million naira every week. And if the factory rice is stored around that December last year, it will not steady until May, April next year, 6 months. So that means for warehousing, for your warehouse that can store to 1,000 bags, you are making 6 million naira. Are you a farmer or are you a farmer? But you're operating on the value chain. And let me still reverse back a bit. For the benefit of those that are in class now, and that's how Jesus always treats his disciples. He has a 75, he has 12, he has 30, and he has 1. So there are different level of information today. So for people that are in class now, what I do there is an appeal as to decide to store your for not less than 1 year because of evil investing. What I do is this. Chemicals are poisonous, truth. But there's no way you want to store your grains without application of chemicals. But you have to understand the real reader, the safety threshold. You are storing your grain, you still go to that. You use your phosphocene, highly poisonous. But how do you apply it? You wrap it inside paper foil. The same thing you use to wrap your cake. So that the chemical content will not disintegrate into the grain. It's only the odor that will be used into the grain. Then, our common GB force, I apply that to our course too. One thing about using your GB force for your storage is as what we call a drought period. If you know that you are going to sell your grains in less than 3 months, don't use GB force. So, but if you are sure that you are not selling your grain on the next 5 months, you can apply GB force. And how do you apply it? There is a certain dosage. You need to you use your knapsack sprayer. So the knapsack sprayer will have atomized the mixture. And it's like almost the gaseous form of the pesticide, the DG4 that you are applying. Then when you are applying it, not that you just apply it at the top, you spread your grain in the warehouse or on the dry slab. You spray it layer by layer. As you are spraying, you turn.
as you are spraying, return. Then you spread. You allow whatever big moisture to escape. Then you revive. Take note of this. You that you are doing the storage or warehousing, you yourself, you are incurring a cost. For these laborers to move out the bag of grain out, empty it, spread it, they are charging you. And I think it's as much as 1,000 naira per bag. For them to bring the bag of grain out of the warehouse, open it, spread it, you get the fumigators to fumigate it for you, then rebag. It's as much as 1,000 naira per bag as of last year. So they carefully pack it, sew the bag away, put it into the store. They do it like 2 or 3 times before you eventually sell. So maybe on that, what do you call it now? Conservation, you incur like 3,000 naira per bag. People that remove it into the warehouse and take it out, the carrier, maybe 500 naira, 1,000 naira a day. So at the end of the day, you have incur maybe around 3,000 to 5,000 naira per bag as the cost of warehousing. So let's assume you buy your a bag of grain for like 40,000 naira, and by the time you are selling it, the market price is around maybe 50,000 naira or 55,000 naira per bag. So you net out your 5,000 naira, and your profit margin may be something like around 10,000 per bag. So that's the business in it. So you can continue.
Is giving the practical example. So Kelemo, it is not just for doing things. These are things that you can do. I'm sure when you were coming to this class, you thought maybe you can only do farming. But your mindset has changed now. That it can belong to any node of the value chain and still make your business. And still make your money. It's all about food security. The commodity we are talking about are agricultural commodities, aren't they? Or and the way we can make money. And so, what started storage and in the warehouse? What is the goal of this particular activity? Storage and warehouse at the storage. The goal is there. What's the goal? Can somebody read it? When you have adequate knowledge, when you're finding money back home, normally, knowledge is not shared for you one thing. You cannot read it in the textbook. Experience. So somebody that has been there before has told you that for you to want to check what and because when people add these chemicals to prevent weevils to this food item, oh you can't do for a while, because people are greedy for money. Chemical anything. And only with about we make sure that our tap, particularly in the next 3 months. In the next 3 months, next week now. It's injurious to health. No, please don't ask questions. I've just started the class. Keep the question. So when you learn about warehousing, it helps you to be able to observe any changes and the way you can quickly address it. moisture content kìíní yìí o wà òkè ó ti ń gbẹ jù ló lè fà. And you can actually lose your commodity, you can lose your crop. You can have an average of between 20 to 30%, even while in storage, if you are not careful. You can have 100 bags, like we use the numerical figures, for example. You have brought in 100 bags of maize to store, and you are not careful enough, and you follow it. At the end of the day, you won't be surprised, okay? At the end of the day, if you do not do what you are supposed to do, only man is 60 to 70 bags, 100 they look to say we are out. So we can also have losses during storage if you are not careful. So the aim of discussing this particular aspect of warehousing is because we want to detect any problems early and curtail the losses that we may likely face if we do not detect early. There are different methods that we can turn from our àgbàdo, our cereals. We can use the traditional warehousing. Báwọn bàbá wa ṣe ṣe láti ìgbà tó ti pẹ́. Ẹlòmíì wọ́n lè lo amọ̀. Àwa tá a bá gbé lóko dáadáa. Tábà tẹ̀ gbé lóko, àwa tá a bá ti sọ́dẹ̀ àgbègbè. Ẹmọ̀ kan máa ń lo amọ̀ láti fi tú ẹ̀. Ó dẹ̀ ní ìdíkan fi ń lo amọ̀. Ẹmọ̀ pé kò sí bí temperature ṣe lè mú tó níta. Ẹ tó bá ti gbé rí amọ̀, kí ló máa ń ṣẹlẹ̀ nínú bẹ̀? Ó máa ń tutù. Ẹni pé téèyàn bá fẹ́ mu omi tútù náà, tó bá rọ omi sínú kòkò, ó máa ń tutù àbí? Tútù tẹ̀ ó tún máa ń fìyàn lọ́kàn balẹ̀ ju pé amómi nínú fíjì lọ. Tútù ẹ̀ ò kì í ṣe sharp coldness, but it's so refreshing. Bóyá wà bí o ti mú mi inú àmúlé, inú àmú dáadáa. Àwọn òbí wọn máa ń tọ́ àgbàdo for example sínú roof. Wọ́n ní wọ́n ṣe máa ń ṣe, wọ́n á tọ́ ẹ̀ síbẹ̀. So that nínú àjà ẹ̀ ṣe, so that àsìkò tó wáyé pé ó pọ̀ rẹpẹtẹ, tó má ti tàwọn tó fẹ́ tà, wọ́n wá tọ́ ẹ̀ síbẹ̀ so that a lè wà available nígbà tí ó bá sí ní season náà. In modern times, we have different methods of storage. Gbàmí a lè store sínú metal. Àwọn tábà máa ń travel, bóyá a máa ń rí some silos. So ẹ pé government build them all round by. Have we ever noticed some silos? They are grain reserves. Ọlọ́run máa jẹ́ ká rogun, a kì í lo ní ẹ̀ nígbà tí Ọlọ́run ti jẹ́ ká níbi láti lò. Those grain reserves are not there for joke. They are supposed to be used to store grains and other cereals. So that when tí àsìkò tí oúnjẹ bá wọ́n, Ọlọ́run máa jẹ́ ká rí famine. Àbí kí anything ṣẹlẹ̀ bó ṣe pé maybe there is an outbreak and those crops are not able to be grown. Or maybe there is war. Those reserves, those grain reserves are the ones that the government will be using to give the people food as a short-term relief. And if you see the way once you come up in here, they can store tons and tons of grain. And they are not located in one place. They are located in different parts of the country. These are some of the strategic steps of the government in maintaining food security. So tabali pé à ń tọ́ àwọn grains ìwà yìí and try láti tọ́jú wọn, and our goal is to be able to detect early. Àwọn kìíní yóò condition tán wà ìkọlẹ̀ ẹ̀ fún wa o. What are the things that will indicate to us? Àwọn kí ló yẹ ká máa watch out fún? Tó máa fi sọ fún wa wípé these particular crops are not in their best form. One is the moisture content, moisture rise. There's a level of moisture that those cereals, different cereals, depending on the cereals you have. There's an average between 12 to 18% moisture content. It's still okay. How do we do this? You give more moisture content, you have a last one. Yeah. But this one will be moisture content there. So you're going to do this, or you won't know. There are very simple, equipment. Check. So, to check the moisture content. Then, àwọn míì wà tó ṣe wípé àwa gan a lè mọ̀. For example, tí nǹkan tá a bá sọ̀ bá ti ń bàjẹ́, ẹ rí pé òórùn ẹ̀ máa yàtọ̀. Àwọn tá a bá ní mú un. Tẹ́lómi bá wọ bíbá ẹ̀ ní ìsìn, nǹkan táwa fi káàgó ó lè report ẹ̀. Yeah, the temperature here is the atmosphere here is not friendly. You understand? Sometimes the smell that comes out will be hot, but this is not universal. This will be on the go. Pest invasion. So you can watch out. Àwọn tá a tó àgbàdo ṣé mo pé most of these cities kì í ṣàwọn èèyàn nìkan là ń jẹ. Àwọn èkúté náà láìpẹ́ àbí so oríṣiríṣi nǹkan ló bá wa compete kò ń jẹ even tá a bá dùn sórí oko náà tó bá jẹ ráìsì jẹ especially àwọn ẹyẹ àjẹ tiwọn àwọn èkúté àjẹ tiwọn èèyàn àwọn náà Ọlọ́run ló dá wọn wọn á dẹ̀ jẹun so we need to watch out for pest invasion. Here àwọn weevils tó bá ṣe wípé rice or maize they can eat up to 10% of what we have in 3 months. Ta ló mọ̀ nǹkan tó jẹ́ low cost? Kí lorúkọ ẹ̀? Kí wọ́n pè Yorùbá? Èṣù. Ọlọ́run máa yẹ kéèyàn rí ìjà low cost. Tí wọ́n bá wọ oko láyìn ká ṣiṣẹ́ jù báyìí ká parí wọ́n á parí ẹ̀. Mo parọ́ àbí? Ṣé láwọn wíwú tó wá fún àwọn tó wà nínú storage yẹn? Because what is stored is in large quantity, èèyàn ò kì í tètè rí wọn. Àwọn náà ó sàpamọ́ ni. So, àwọn máa ṣọ́ra wa ni. Àwa tá a fẹ́ kí nǹkan tá a fẹ́ tọ̀ nǹkan àtàwọn tó fẹ́ ṣe náà àwọn náà fẹ́ jẹun ni so àwa náà àṣìkí ni a máa ṣe wọn tá a bá kàn fún ìpè àti store we have a good storage facility and you just abandon it you be shocked that by the time you come back nǹkan tó fi síbẹ̀ pẹ̀lú máa bá ẹ̀kọ́ ní pé gbogbo ẹ̀kú wọn á ti jẹ it's very important you can fumigate like you mentioned using different kind of chemicals that are acceptable. This particular training is not going to give you everything you want from A to Z in detail because you do not know what your choice is. You may not even know what your choice is as at now. It is when you decide that, okay, I'm listening to everything in this course. Because you want to decide that you should let's go find out more about the particular area that you want to do. Sometimes the color àwọn nǹkan tá a bá tọ̀ bó bá ṣe ń change ló máa jẹ́ ká wò pé ó dàbí pé ọwọ́ ìbàjẹ́ ti fẹ́ kan kiri ìlú kiri ìfín ní ìdàbójútó kọ́ tí mo rò pé mo máa lè stop bí oṣù mẹ́ta oṣù mẹ́rin mi ò rò pé ó máa tó bẹ́ẹ̀ mọ́ torí mo ti ń rí àpẹẹrẹ wípé àwọn kìíní ìfín bàjẹ́ ẹ káàárọ̀ tà ẹ já kí wọn.
ẹ káàárọ̀ ẹ̀.
a ti rí àpẹẹrẹ wípé kìíní ó fẹ́ máa bàjẹ́. And remember I said as a smart agriculture àwọn á ní máa wọ nǹkan tó bàjẹ́ tán tí ò wá ní value mọ́ kátó decide láti tà. So before you say you want to fumigate for example wà á kọ́kọ́ wo condition àwọn kìíní tó ṣe pé kìíní ti bàjẹ́ gan débi wípé tí bá ní kí n keep it further I will be losing money. Before you now decide okay once you are okay, let me fumigate and give them water. So all these things must work hand in hand. Mo bóyá mo make sense. Tó bá ṣe wípé àwọn kìíní close náà yẹn wọ́n ti ẹ̀ ti bàjẹ́ already, now fumigate again. You are incurring cost upon what is already spoiled. So tún lọ́wọ́ sí lórí. Bóyá gbàgbọ́ wá fumigate yẹn tán lọ́rí pé kìíní ti bàjẹ́ o, kọ́tí ẹ̀ kó fílẹ̀ fún oṣù mẹ́ta. Wàá sáré, wàá gé síta. Bí àkíní yóò gbọdọ̀ kúrò. Tí bá tó bá tó oṣù mẹ́ta wọn máa bàjẹ́ sí mi. You now put the health of people out there in jeopardy because you don't want to lose. Whereas if you have done your own work very well, no kàn wọ́n pé wọ́n sọ fún wa ní lẹ́sọ̀ òkú tó bá lè sọ 100 bags of rice tí mo gba 1,000 lé lórí I'm going to make this much money. That's what you okay. That 6 million is not everything you make. Let me tell you. You just explain for that you wọ́n náà máa incur our expenses come. I was not about to judge chemical to fumigate, and you have to do that maybe 2 or 3 times before go to Tasita. So over those period of time, you're going to incur some expenses. So by the time you minus it, of course they are not going to run at a loss, but it's not that 6 million naira that you plug in your head. 100 bags, buy. No, you don't know what that is. A smart business does not think like that. You will incur some expenses. At the end of the day, when you sell off, you make some profit. So you look at the margin. Iye tí mo invest yìí àti iye tí mo rí bẹ̀ ṣé yàtọ̀ wà bẹ̀? Ṣé yé wà? Am I in class? Yes. Thank you. Ó ṣe pàtàkì fún ọ̀dẹ̀ gbé ní ọkàn sọ̀rọ̀ lásán. Okay. Then we also notice the heat build up. Ṣé àwọn people sọ fún wa pé gbogbo àwọn crops yìí nù àwọn náà wọ́n ní. They are breathing. Tí ẹ bá tọ̀ nǹkan síbi ní warehouse, tí ẹ bá kọ́kọ́ wo bẹ̀, ẹ̀rọ ní tó ń generate heat, ó máa máa gbóná. So that place needs to be ventilated. Atẹ́gùn ní ó yẹ kó wà ní dáadáa. Ẹni báwọn tó máa ń ṣe cold room tó ń gbẹ́jà síbẹ̀, ẹni tó bá tí ò bá múra dáadáa, even àwọn tó ń gbẹ́jà yẹn jáde gan, tó bá ṣílẹ̀kùn yẹn báyìí, báwa ta máa ń lọ ẹja ní cold room àbí? Ó lè má yá àwọn ọkùnrin púpọ̀. Ṣé àwọn ọkùnrin náà máa ń lọ ẹja ní gómìn? Wọ́n ṣí kiri ẹ̀ báyìí. Atẹ́gùn tó máa ẹ̀yin lẹ́ ń rà jù. Ẹ ṣe ọlọ́run but please give it up for the men in the house. Ẹ pàdé wọ́n bá wọn ọkùnrin náà. So gbogbo nǹkan ló níwọ̀ntúnwọ̀nsì. So when you are having a warehouse, there's a temperature build-up, and then you need to also watch for this, so that your commodities, your food crops will not spoil. So the changes to observe in the warehouse. Okay. It will be in the note. The changes to observe in the warehouse. If you decide to be in that node of the value chain, okay, warehouse business of agricultural commodities, you should note that if you are having that warehouse, note the moisture content of the things you are putting there. The desired condition should be between 12 to 14%. And why does this matter? Clearly, important láti note the moisture content yìí. Tómi yẹn bá ti pọ̀ jù, àwọn kìíní ẹ̀ máa mold. A máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní grow mold. Tómi yẹn bá kọjá range lásán ni. Tó bá dẹ̀ ti mold báyìí, ó máa fàyè lẹ̀ fún fungi láti máa grow. Ẹ rí i pé tí a bá rà àwọn ráìsì kan, tó bá yẹ pé ráìsì yẹn wọ́n ṣe dáadáa, wọ́n á ti máa mold, láti máa decay, wọ́n á ṣùpọ̀ mọ́ra wọn, á green àbí ṣé mo parọ́? Á green bíi pé ṣé ráìsì náà dẹ̀ lélẹ̀. It's because the storage conditions were not okay. And so, kí làwọn èèyàn máa ń ṣe láti fi prevent irú nǹkan báyìí, to be able to maintain the right moisture content? Èèyàn lè decide láti sun dry kéèyàn pè sínú oòrùn. That's one method, so that you are able to target the right moisture content. Èèyàn lè decide láti lo solar dryer. Am I making sense? So one of the parameters you watch out for is what? The moisture content. The second thing you should watch out for is the temperature of the warehouse. Temperature, ambient temperature, most of the time less than 30 degrees Celsius. So what is 30 degrees Celsius? Why do we have to have this particular, temperature range? This temperature range yóò bá ju percentage aṣọ ìlọ, ó máa slow down insect activity. Our activities ò ní àwọn kòkòrò àwọn wọn ò ní lè thrive in that environment. Then mo sọ fún wa wípé àwọn crops wa yìí náà wọ́n ní their living things. It also helps to slow down the respiration. And when respiration is slowed down and insect activities are also reduced, it prolongs the shelf life of whatever you are keeping in the warehouse. Ajako lè lọ síbẹ̀ fúngbà pípẹ́. So, tá bá fẹ́ achieve aim wa wípé a fẹ́ kí temperature yẹn kó wà less than 30 degrees, kó má gbóná rárá, kó má dẹ̀ wà favourable fáwọn insect yìí. A ní láti ṣe kí ni o? It's either we have that warehouse carrying insulated walls in the warehouse. That's one method. Or we have insulated walls. Ògiri no insulate wall. WALLS. So that you have insulated walls, or you make sure that you have enough ventilation. Ṣé pé pé àtàmàkọ́ window báwo ló ṣe máa ń kọ́ àwọn window yẹn? Bára dáná. I have to show you pé window ta ṣe síbẹ̀ ṣe kí ni owó tóbi dáadáa. Tó jẹ́ pé atẹ́gùn á lè máa wọlé ṣẹ́ sí àwọn nǹkan tí a store ní inú warehouse yẹn. Yes, relative humidity is something you should also watch out for. This relative humidity should be between 60 to 70%. How do you use this? You use what we call hygrometer. One time we use AKD. This is about the temperature. What do you know? Thermometer. There are instruments like that that can actually use to test for the relative humidity of your stored product. Pest. You should also watch out for pests. And so when your warehouse is now you say, this is where I want to do. Warehouse is open machine. And that's to watch out for pests you. Èkúté àti àbúrò àwọn nǹkan míì náà. You can fumigate. You can use traps. Èèyàn lè tẹ taku tó bá ṣe pé taku lè wọ. Àwọn náà mọ̀ pé àwọn ìdílé kan taku ò lè mú wọn. Àwọn ìdílé kan tẹ̀wà láyé sí gbọ́dọ̀ ṣọ́ wa. Àwọn náà ti ní AI ras ti wà. Lẹ́yìn pé tó bá tẹ̀ ti trap báyìí. Akọ̀wé arẹ́rìn. Adẹ̀fẹ̀gbẹ́ kọjá ẹ̀. Ara fi ṣe wá mú ìbò ẹ̀ fúnra ẹ̀. Àbí mo bá rọ́. So, the condition of your bag, you also take note of it. Bag condition, BAG, bag condition. Make sure that the bag, when you bag is in here, kò sí àlàfo ń bẹ̀, èèyàn tight ẹ̀ dáadáa. Kí ló ṣe pàtàkì? Tá bá make sure pé báàgì yìí àṣe tight ẹ̀ dáadáa. Ẹ mọ̀ pé wọ́n sọ nǹkan nípa fumigation, wọ́n sọ nǹkan nípa toxins ní ọmọ àfihàn, ó wà very highly poisonous. Ṣùgbọ́n if you don't bag very well, èkúté lálá fẹ́lẹ́ eventually be contaminating your food. Tó léwu mọ́. So, this is very important, and we need to be regularly checking whatever is in the store. Ó ṣeé ṣe kó ṣe wípé báàgì kan bóyá bí wọ́n ti ń gbé wọlé kí wọ́n gbé jáde kí kan ti ya. You may need to remove that bag. You may need to do double bagging sometimes. You may need to replace that bag. is very important. Your stacking height is also very important when you are warehousing. The height at which you stack. Tí wọ́n bá fẹ́ stack bóyá bags of maize àbí rice for example, ó ga jù bí wọ́n bá jẹ́ kó ti bóyá bí mẹ́jọ lọ. Kì í ṣe ká wá mount ẹ̀ kó wá ṣe kékeré. You won't give room for, I mean, those crops to breathe, and it's not good. And tá a bá stack ẹ̀ mọ̀ pé weight yẹn agbélera wọn ni àwọn tó wà nísàlẹ̀ yẹn will be spoiling their quality. Wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní irun. They will not be whole grains again. Wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní irun torí nǹkan tá kó le ó ti pọ̀. There's a story of a farmer. Musa lorúkọ ẹni from Benue State. Because he was not properly tutored, kò ní ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ púpọ̀ lórí warehousing. He went to warehousing business, and at the end of the day, he lost up to 40% of his investment due to wrong information. But when he learned his lesson and he started doing the warehousing business the way it's supposed to be done, he was able to bounce back. Hello? Please, if you have not filled this form, this gender-based violence form, raise up your hand. It is very important that you fill this form. That you fill the form with. Anybody in the house? You have not filled it. Please come and grab it. Come.
She must give her convocation cake before filling this form.
All right. Can she come now? She can come after the class. All right. Okay. So I just want to summarize that for the warehousing, for you to be a smart agri premium, you should know the changes in your warehouse. See that the business you have chosen after so many things. Note the muscle content of what you are storing. Was able to note the temperature. Make sure that your temperature is cool and that the place is well ventilated. You must be able to account for pest control. You must be able to fumigate. In controlling for pests, it means fumigation and regular inspection. Because what you see there today, if you decide to just abandon everything is okay, and you don't inspect it, something might have gone wrong in your absence, and you may not know. Bad stacking. When you want to stack your commodity, make sure you arrange it very well to avoid crushing, because you are going to spoil the ones that are below, and that will also reduce your income at the end of the day. Remember that all these stories that I'm telling you, is not about Naira and Kobo. I've told you that that's what I'm told here to come and I'm not telling you about using land. I'm not telling you about tillage systems. I'm not telling you about pest management. All I'm telling you is that at the end of the day, so everything I'm telling you is about making sure that you have good quality income. That you do not just go into agribusiness and you come out with losses. So whichever of the notes you want to invest your money in, make sure you are able to break even and make money. That is the story I'm telling you. Can we take a break? Or I should continue? There's a young man that wanted to ask a question. Can we take a question later? Oh, yeah. Let's listen to him.
Thank you, man. What I want to ask is that, according to your explanation, if we want to store our crop for a period of time, and you know, like it must, I mean, we have put this chemical and there must be like above the target 5 months. So, but yeah, right. Someone just hear that the type of the food has been high, but not yet period. Maybe at 2 or 3 months. Well, you know, because that 5 months, the market will still fall.
Ẹ jọ ṣáà gbọ́ béèrè yeye. Ẹ bá mi ṣáwọn látẹ̀wọ́. Ẹ bá mi ṣáwọn látẹ̀wọ́, màá gbọ́ béèrè fún yín. Thank you very much. You see, I like this brother. He's very practical. Wọ́n wà very practical. Àwọn náà fún wa lẹ́gbàmpù ẹni tó gbin nǹkan tó ti ṣe dáadáa àdẹ̀ntọ́ ọ̀dọ̀ transportation. Inú oko ni bàbá wà. Gbogbo èrè oko ló ti ṣe yànmùyànmù yìí. Kò sọ́nà tó ti fẹ́ kó jáde. Ọ̀nà ti bàjẹ́, mọ́tò ò lè rìn. Mọ́tò sẹ́kù ò lè rìn. Gbogbo ẹ̀ jẹ́ mọ́tò tó bá wà tẹ̀ láti rìn, ó máa rìn ni. Gbogbo àgbogbo kò sí ètò ẹgbẹ́ wọn pàdé náà tó dáadáa. Ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni àfi ọlọ́bẹ̀ o? He has that question, yes, mo sọ pé kẹ̀ ṣe àwọn láti rìn. It's a very practical question. Tí ìwé bá ṣẹlẹ̀, because ó ń ṣẹlẹ̀, kí ni ká ṣe? Ó láì pé mo dáhùn question yẹn lọ́jọ́ yẹn. Mi ò ní sọ nǹkan tí mo sọ. Á ṣòro yẹ ìwà àti máta bẹ́ẹ̀ láti. Òun mọ̀ pé mo dáhùn question yẹn ní mọ̀ bá. Mi ò ní bí wọ́n. Mi ò ní bí wọ́n bóyá tá a bá fẹ́ ṣe fún ìjàmbá rẹ̀. Wọ́n béèrè question kan ní ìsìn. Wọ́n ní òkè. A ní tá a bá ń warehouse àwọn commodities wa. We should adẹ̀wò pé mo ti apply chemicals kìíní yìí ó yẹ kó lóṣù mẹ́ta. Maybe you applied it in December for example. Kò yẹ kí yàn ta ọ̀hún bí April next year. Wọ́n ti lè wá di pé àgbàdo ti ń tàbàjẹ́ sí láti fi wọ́n tà ní 200,000 nísìn. Ẹ bá lágbàdo wọ́n ti dolówó 400,000 ni wọ́n tà sí. Àgbàdo ti ẹ̀ sì rí o lágbàdo tó pọ̀ rẹpẹtẹ. Ṣáàwá dúró ní pé kí April yìí ṣe dékè ọjà táwọn wò yìí pẹ̀lú inflation yìí. Ó lè dọ̀la kó tún yí bára òbí dọ́là ṣe bó ṣe ń lò kí tó ń lọ sálẹ̀. Ó lè dáná ní àgbàdo tó ti pọ̀ rẹ̀. Kódà tó bá lẹ́ni bẹ́ẹ̀ rà 100,000 gan kó máa dúpẹ́ ni. Kí ni kéèyàn ṣe láàrin yẹn? As an agri-business person, what should you do? Sálẹ̀ tó fẹ́ dá wa lò. Àbí ká fi pamọ́ sí kúlà. Ó lágbára díẹ̀. Á padà wá dáhùn. Ṣé ẹ gbọ́? That's why I said that it's a very practical question that I ask. Ẹ má wọrí. Tí mo bá sọ̀rọ̀ nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ sọ ní ìsìn yìí, the next one I want to talk about. Ó lè tọ́ka sí ẹ lè rí òye kankan mú bẹ́ẹ̀. Ó lè dáhùn ẹ̀, ó dẹ̀ lè má dáhùn ẹ̀. Ẹ má jẹ́ ká ti dáhùn ẹ̀ báyìí. You have another question? All right. Go on. Ask the young man. You also have a question. I'm not answer. You must be the answer. Give the answer, please. Go on.
My question is concerning the warehouse. Okay, say for instance, maybe I'm going to the warehouse business, just and my question is, can it be built like normal house that we have in exit and out exit? And my second question is, if you store a particular grains in warehouse, say for instance, now mint, I think with too much heat, it can mold together. And we are told to apply chemicals to it, and if they are owning a warehouse like your home, farmers will come to store some grains in your own warehouse, and you really want to monitor it. Okay, now we were told not to use the market sack to store anything, like you should use the thick sack so that termites will not penetrate what we are. So that termites will not penetrate inside what we are storing. So, what is the condition that makes all this storage, like those that stored and achieve what they store? What is the condition that warrants it to be stored in a good condition till when they want to sell it?
Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, you want to ask questions? Okay. Right, sir. That's quite. All right, thank you so much. Ẹ ṣé o, àwọn ìbéèrè yín yẹn. Ẹ jẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ látọ̀dọ̀ àti tó ń béèrè pé ká bá ń kó àwọn ráìsì, a máa ń rí àwọn kòkòrò lójú ẹ̀ bíi dúdú àbí kòkòrò pé what could be responsible for that? A lot of things can be responsible for it. But tá bá fẹ́ fi explanation tí a ṣe ní ìsìn, tá bá fẹ́ fi. Wọ́n mi rí pé àwọn ráìsì yẹn nǹkan kan ti ṣẹlẹ̀ sí wọn in the storehouse. Nǹkan kan ti ṣẹlẹ̀ sí wọn ní warehouse. Àti ṣe ń gbọ́. Ó ṣòro pé nǹkan ti ṣẹlẹ̀ sí wọn ní warehouse. Because normally tá bá fẹ́ for rice kò yẹ ká máa rí kòkòrò àti nǹkan lójú ẹ̀. So it means somewhere along the line something has gone wrong. Probably in the storage. And let me shock you. You may not even be sure. Do you know that women when imported rice now and then, they preserve them with high levels of chemicals. Some of them stay 10, 15 years. Yes, on the sea before they get here. Because of the preservative they put in them. That's why our rice is not a bad thing. Those are the chemicals that they use in preserving them. They are not healthy for food. And ṣé mo pé à ń sọ̀rọ̀ wípé àwọn ráìsì tá à ń jẹ àwọn kò sí ojúmọ́ kan nílé kan tí wọ́n ní jẹ ráìsì. Mo máa wá dájú jẹ ráìsì láàárọ̀. Àwọn kan pé wá bí àkókò jẹ́ kí wọ́n tún ti wà. Ṣó yé wa? Hello. During the earlier part of this course training, wọ́n fún wa ní àwọn safety measures kan àbí ṣáwá kíláàsì yẹn. Wọ́n kọ́ wa ní safety measures kan. Wọ́n kọ́ wa ní communication skills kan àbí. I'm going to make one or two references to them. So inú rice bẹ́ẹ̀ ni wọ́n ti ṣẹlẹ̀ sí ni wá sí. And I mean, the owner's land lies on us on how we cook such a food so that kò ní wà injurious to our health. Yes, you can use salt to wash it. You can use salt to wash it. In fact, you know that there was a time that wọ́n ní pé tí wọ́n bá rẹ ẹ̀wà tí ẹ̀ bá rí kòkòrò lára ẹ̀wà yẹn ká má ṣe kí ni o ṣe má wulẹ̀ sí ẹ̀ rà because àti kòkòrò wíwù làtẹ̀wà mọ́jọ wọn rìn papọ̀ ó dàbí pé ẹ̀fẹ́ rẹ̀ ẹran lọ́jà ẹ̀ wá lé ṣìṣì kankan bẹ̀ ẹ̀ ṣìṣì kankan ò bá lé ní open market tí ò ṣe supermarket kan ti gbé sábẹ́ kínní ẹ̀ sá fún ẹ̀rọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Formalin, when they sell meat, tó bá ti ṣe fún ọmọ àti formalin bọ̀ ni tó bá jọ kéde ẹ̀ lè ṣe kankan bẹ̀. Show you again. Then back to your question. You know when I was rounding up with this particular session, most of them are with any of the value chains about choose. we will sit back and go and reflect on the value chain of students. This is just a tip of the iceberg we are giving you. You understand? A whole lot of learning ló wà nípa warehouse in each of the value chain. Láì fi hàn fẹ́ lọ kọ́ṣẹ́ ni. Èèyàn fẹ́ kọ́ṣẹ́ bóyá chemist for example, wọ́n á kọ́ bó ṣe máa lọ rajà, wọ́n á kọ́ ibi tó máa ti lọ rà, wọ́n á kọ́, you understand? Just like I was mentioning that the EI was able to give us practical example, but táwọn ṣe, you understand? Because wọ́n rí fast ní ẹ̀ pé training yìí, àwọn kan wà tó ṣe wípé owó lèèyàn máa fi rà wá fẹ́ bèèrè. Because ẹni tó bá mọ̀ kó fẹ́ bèèrè question lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ pé báwo la ṣe bá náà fẹ́ máa ṣe ní ẹ̀dẹ̀ máa wá typical ẹ pé anybody tó bá ti káàbù ní ìdìbò rẹ̀ ìgbẹ́tẹ́ lórí wa bẹ̀ ojú ọ̀run dẹ̀ tẹ̀ yẹ kó láì farakanra. So whatever angle you want to look at it, which of the nodes you want to practice, it will be very important. Sharing advantage to the as part of participants in this course, stay in touch with the organizers of this program. That's just ìmọ̀ràn mi fún yín nìyẹn o. Because beyond this particular training, they can link you up. Maybe with financing, wọ́n lè má fún yín lówó directly omi yẹn wá fún yín lówó yàrá máa dààmú Mr. Gabriel bí àmì alájà tí ní kéta bá ti rí ẹ máa fún wa lówó. But you can have ọlọ́run á ṣe nínú ọ̀sán. Gbogbo wa ta wá sí àmàrí bá ti ṣe àmàrọ́nà gbígbà. A ní wá lásán lágbára ọlọ́run àti bọ́tà fi sílẹ̀ ọlọ́run á jẹ́ gbogbo ọ̀sìn. So whatever you decide to do further, take it further with them. This is what I want to do. Please, can you link me up? Know somebody that is already into this particular aspect that I can link up with. There are a lot of young people in different angles of strategy. There are some that are into cold storage. They have a business on shading. And so, when you want to start, I was mentioning something the last time that when you come in closer, where you meet together, and you have like mind together, why don't you do this together? As a group, you'll be able to attract attention. You write a proposal. You can write a proposal that can be looked at for you. I can even do that for you. You can write a proposal, and then we'll look for small business grants. There are people, there are donors that are looking for our small-scale entrepreneurs. There are a lot of grants. I'm willing to that business by now. So one like that, open that business by now, and they will fund it. If they get the, points not okay. So they can't really compete to work on. You understand? So no, I want to go to the next section. When we have any questions, we can keep them after this session. Okay. I'm going to take you through two more sessions, but I will just read through them. You said it's time for break. I won't deny you your break, but everybody can go by the class. You don't have to break time. So please, let's do the break time. Can we take 15 minutes? Is 15 minutes fine? How many minutes do you want? 20 minutes? 30 minutes? We come back at 11:30, right? No, we come back at 11:30. You also ate into my time, that time. Thank you so much. Bon appétit. Enjoy your break. I want us to go through a small exercise. It's called an elevator pitch. Elevator pitch. P-I-T-C-H. Elevator pitch. Hello? Let's settle down. Ẹbẹ̀rẹ̀ bírèkì látàrọ ẹ̀ mọ̀ pé mára chíìsì. Ó dìgbà tí kíláàsì parí lẹ́sìn jẹ́ ilé ìpè àlímọ̀. I want volunteers. This is going to be a demonstration. I want volunteers. One from here, one from here. Imagine that you are in an elevator, a lift. Not by stroke of chance, you happen to meet a very powerful man. Now people don't come by every day. Say Aliko Dangote, for example. I want to tell this man, this billionaire, about your business and everything, you know. I have just 2 minutes to do this. It's not an opportunity that you see every day. Not every day that you see like your Dangote, isn't it? I don't do that now. So, in between the time you enter that elevator and the time you get to your floor or where Dangote is coming out, you need to tell him and convince him of investing in your business. I know he has the potential to do that. And you have to do this within 2-3 minutes max. How do you go about it? I told you that what I'm here to talk about is marketing and transporting. At the end of the day, whatever I think business has decided to do, báwo ló ṣe máa fi owó tó máa wà profitable fún yín? Ẹjọ́ tèmi wá rò nìyẹn. So you should not be surprised. Are you surprised? So let's do the elevation pitch. Let's have volunteers. Oh yeah. Elevator pitch. Are you volunteering? Oyè yìí, okay. Lọ, ẹ ṣe lọ báyìí àti business ló ti ní business idea tó fẹ́ ṣe after this training. Ọ̀dẹ̀ ṣe lọ ni fẹ́ wọlé. Dangote rè náà. Ó lè decide láti sponsor business idea now. Opportunity. You know, I started by telling you to this class that an opinion must be smart. Opportunity for Kogodo come by to get Kogodo look there. And part of being smart is what I explained to Alima the other time. When she was asking for questions, I want to share where else to me. So they are able to make profit out of it. One more push the function, one more but there's no communication, one more report the function. Then at the end of the day they are making profit. How can one go about to communicate after this class? Whatever anybody else. How do you help? Networking. Somebody links you up with somebody that will help you. You have to make it move. So, one person an example, maybe after this class, maybe if you're not able to answer this class, maybe you just opportune. What I'm just trying to do is for you to be able to market yourself. We are talking marketing here. Tell me about Polo Gary. Everybody here is Gary. I bet it's Gary. You understand? What do you do? Well, I'm going to Dangote now, all over Nigeria. One part here. What's that business idea? You tell me why. And people say, you have something. You understand? It's not somebody. When we are talking about this education, times go in that character. But you need to be able to pass the message out. Okay. When you can't worry. You understand? So we did that 2-3 minutes. may not even be Dangote, this person that okay. More anytime láti máa jókòó ẹjọ́ pọ̀ you understand but only last is like that within that span of time how do you go about it anybody want to volunteer so come yọ àyìn tí sọ̀rọ̀ látẹ̀ ẹ̀yin náà ẹ̀ máa kù ó yá ẹ̀ máa kù 2 men who is going to join Alima any club is a business idea. You have a business idea, you want to pass and grow. Hello, my dear power. Hello, Jerry. I will give you some hints. Emma will I won't give you. Okay, maybe I should just give you this opportunity. Because do the way you want it. Then afterwards, I'll give you this. We then we said, okay. Maya, take the stage and come. Let's have
Okay. If I have a particular product I want to sell and I want it to reach maybe a particular person, for that product to be more well known, or let me say, take for instance now. My name is Anna. Good morning, sir. Please, can I ask you some minutes with you? Please, I'm selling this particular product and it will be helpful to you in case you need them. Even in your company, you can be able to resell, and maybe by employing me, I can be able to make you or put those that in your company to make more products and profit on this particular product. You can say it is healthy for your health. It can do something about everything you want to do.
all right, let's go for
Next.
Good morning, sir. I have a business proposal on Asaba Bank. What you can do, Asaba Bank. Only from here, you can get 30%. That's me. The Asaba Bank is something they call HPC. I will just be saying highest quality Asaba Bank that can be used either in the water or in the house. So we get the process Asaba Bank and the water it and sun dry it. That does not depend on the company that wants to take it. Whether they want to do it, continue to go to regular processes. But if it is for picking or for cow, then you can process it. Not for that. Then our unique cassava, you cannot further process the cassava into starch. Then from starch, you can equally as well process it into I will develop my business because I'm saying to you. But just for you to know what and what you are making from then they work out, then you need Gary itself. Then we can plan it either as fermented Gary or what you know Gary to work I believe it is like best like 100 million. You need to 5 minutes. You need to can use this to explore all the rest.
Thank you very much. Let's have
Thank you. Good morning, sir. My name is Paul Lanka. My company is Arukoto Business. I have a proposal on wet in waste program. And I know if you can invest in it, you will make your money within 2-3 years. And you know, I want to plead if you can. Waste. Wet. Wet. When we are always trying to do that, if we are giving chance for big partners, big like the rate of the percentage of what you make. In fact, let me say, by this time you check, you will get one. We have so much activity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please let's appreciate them again. Thank you, sir. Mr. Dangote also started. Thank you very much. The PI, what we are doing is what we call an elevator pitch. A businessman with a very, somebody that wants to start a business already running a business. Suddenly, he stumbles on Dangote and he wants to tell Dangote about his business with the intention of, him funding that particular business, you understand? And Dangote is not somebody that you come across every day. He was just a stroke of luck. And as a smart agripreneur, which we are training them to do, you don't allow opportunity to come by and then pass like that without receiving. So in 2-3 minutes, this volunteer have been able to, they want to tell Dangote why, they want to convince him why he should invest in their business. And so that's what they have just come out to do. Please let's appreciate them. Mr. Dangote, please, thank you so much. All of you can go and sit down. Yes. As an agripreneur, we said we should be smart. There are 3 things you should know when you want to do an elevator pitch. And please, take this elevator pitch modeling we are doing. Put it at the back of your mind. Because it may not actually play out that way. But it's just to tell us that opportunity for us to be able to have people invest in our business might come across us. I pray it comes across us. And when this opportunity comes, how do we maximize the opportunity? Please, let's listen attentively. If you want to have what we call an elevator pitch, some of our colleagues here, there are steps to follow. These steps are about 6, 7, but if you master them very well, there are things that you can do in 2-3 minutes. Once you get the explanation. Ṣé ẹ̀kọ́ tí mo sọ yìí wá, ẹ jẹ́ kí n sọ Yorùbá. A fẹ́ ṣe òwò, a ti wá sí ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́, a fẹ́ ṣe òwò, a fẹ́ sọ́dọ̀ business wa. A kàn ń lọ lọ́jọ́ kan wá dà. Dangote la rí yìí, bẹ́ẹ̀ lè má ṣe Dangote, bóyá rí business man kan tàbí ìlú rẹ̀ lédè àgbéyà. Àwọn ẹni yìí, àwọn máa ń fund business àti especially tó máa rí wípé àwọn lè business yẹn lè mówó wọlé. So investor ni wọ́n. Báwo mo ṣe fẹ́ convince ẹni wípé wọ́n invest in business yìí pé òwò tó máa mú èrè jáde ńbẹ̀. Somebody that's an investor, a businessman, tó bá rí business tó máa ṣe á fowó sí. Ṣé ẹ mọ̀ pé kíní yìí amúwálé fóun amúwálé fún ẹni tó introduce ẹ̀ tó náà. Báwo la ṣe fẹ́ bá ẹni yìí sọ̀rọ̀ láàrin ìṣẹ́jú méjì sí mẹ́ta? You are talking over there, I don't know who is talking, but it's not helpful. How do you convince this person láàrin ìṣẹ́jú méjì mẹ́ta pé invest in my business? The very first thing you will do is to introduce yourself. You introduce yourself. Kí ni full name ẹ? You dey invest in your fẹ́ a potential investor sọ̀rọ̀ kí èèyàn wá ṣojú pọ̀ nípa olùbáyọ̀ ọjà láti ọmọ ọdún àti kọ̀ọ̀kan bínú. Wàá pọ́kẹ́tì ìbínú ẹ̀ or whatever. You approach the person with a smile. My name is Adebola Ogunuka. Introduce yourself. It's nice to meet you, sir. Are we okay? So the very first thing you do is to introduce yourself. My name is this. And you do that with a smile. Don't do it with a frowning face. Gbogbo alábàánkọ ni pé onímọ̀ náà máa ń sọ ẹ̀ náà. Dangote olórí méjì. Àwa náà fẹ́ wá rí. Then in introducing yourself, you will also say, as part of your introduction, my name is Bisola Adeyemi. I'm a graduate of microbiology. I'm a graduate of economics. I'm a graduate of food. I own a small business enterprise. That's part of the introduction. The first thing, introduce yourself. Then you provide a brief summary of your background and what you do. That's the second step. Provide a brief summary of your background and what you do. I will give you an example. This one says, I'm a dairy producer with experience in setting up smallholder dairy supply chain. I'm an agripreneur. I help people to set up their small scale farming. I'm into maize production. Some of your back sheep, often set up warehouse, for example. I run a warehouse company, a small one, where I help people to store their produce. And I also help people that want to establish their own warehouse. Then you know what to do, you introduce what you do. Please, if you are doing this particular line of introduction, this present one, the most important thing about yourself is what you should showcase. I mentioned I'm a microbiologist, for example. If you are a microbiologist and your business is what? Agric related. Understand? The business you want to propose to that person. Well, maybe you are undertaking some courses in the business area that makes you to be experienced in that business. No investor wants to invest in somebody. Are we getting it? So your introduction, your line of expertise, you align with the business that you are proposing. Are we together? You should include the most relevant information, like your education, your work experience, or any other trend that you have. Oh, I'm a graduate. I say I'm a graduate of whatever provision. I have proficiency. I've taken a series of training. I've set up farms in this. Things to show that you got to pay invest in here. Oh, can show for invest. That is very important. The third thing, you should be able to identify your client or your customer in that speech. My name is Abraham. Good morning, sir. My name is Abraham. It's so nice to meet you. I'm a dairy producer with experience in setting up smallholder supply chain, especially for small producers. In my 7 years of professional experience, I have organized this amount of training for smallholders. I've done this, I've done that. Your experience in the proposed business, you should put forward. If you have not, if your experience is not in the area of trading, in this particular business, I've cultivated 10 hectares of land, I've produced these tons of this, I've supplied to this particular market, and I'm still supplying it. Something to show that that business you are talking about, you have experience in. Are we getting it? An investor wants to know, it's very important. Okay, give another example. I said you should identify your clients, your customers. You have been in this business, for the investors to know that you are not just producing, you have people that are all taking from you. So for produce platform, you need to be able to pass that message across that I have people that are already taking my product. Again, you should be able to say something that is unique about the business you are proposing. You are into Gary, so what? There should be something that stands you out. That makes the person want to say, oh, there's something unique about this particular guy. You should be able to find out something unique about the business. And you should be able to say that. And then, in these 2 minutes again, you should be able to state what you want. And what is it that you want the investor to do for you? You should not forget to say that, sir, with this, I would like you to do this and that and that. It is not then you start telling me that the people that came out this law, if you invest this much in it, this that much are going to make. No. You don't give a particular figure, a particular amount, but it creates the impression that this is a business that will give you 2 or 3 times return in whatever you invest. Given the antecedents you have had in the past, which you have told the person. Again, you should say, sir, I would like to have an appointment with you so I can further give you the proposal of what I do. I wouldn't mind if you give an appointment. Are we together? So in 2-3 minutes, you have put a lot of things together. You have introduced yourself courteously, with a smile. You have told your potential investor what you do. And that this should also, we said you should make sure that whatever you are trying to attract an investor for should be something that you have experience in. You should also be able to convince him of why that particular thing, why your business is worth investing in. What makes it stand out? Why should he go ahead and invest in it? What is so special about it? Is it a category of people that your commodity is trying to target? For example, if you are marketing cassava, for example, you want to say that the cassava I'm marketing is the one that is fortified with vitamin A. And vitamin A is very good for the eyesight. We know that a lot of people in the country eat cassava. It's a staple food. And to buy gàrí tàǹtà, àtúmọ̀ yàtọ̀ sí pé bóyá ó ń ṣe ara lóore, ó ń fún wa lóúnjẹ tá a fẹ́ jẹ, ó tún wúlò fojú. That caveat of it has vitamin A content makes it different from just any other cassava. Are we making sense? As a business person that wants to get an investor, you just must find something that stands your product out from other products. Somebody that wants an investor to invest, you must be able to convince the investor, hold and sort first. So why should I invest in you? You should be able to convince the person. So you should be able to find out from onset, as an entrepreneur, what are you going to do that is going to be different from what every other person is doing? Kí ló fẹ́ ṣe yàtọ̀? Ó lè jẹ́ packaging ẹ̀ ló fẹ́ kó stand out fún. Ó lè jẹ́ àwọn target market ẹ̀ ló fẹ́ kó stand out. And if you are targeting an investor, you should also kind of understudy the kind of business the investor yẹn tó máa ń fẹ́ ṣe. I'm using Dangote as an example. It could be somebody else. Something mo fẹ́ ṣe lélẹ̀. Àmọ́ kó oúnjẹ ṣe pàtàkì. Kò sẹ́ni tó jí lójúmọ́ tí kì í jẹun. This is what I want to do, and it would be nice to invest in this business. Are we following?
Yes.
Maybe when we come back tomorrow, we'll do a replay of this role, of this elevator pitch, and see whether we have been able to learn one of those things. I want to sort of the economy at all. That was the necessary digression. Back to class. Any questions? Any questions? There can be questions for an elevator pitch. Yeah. Questions, see? Bí àìsẹ́ fún mi. Wọ́n ní ìdásílẹ̀. Ẹ má jí wọn náà. Tó bá ti dásìkò àwùkọ́. Sorry. Hey, look, man. We are going to talk about grading and standardizing. What should simple to it? Peter is the simple to it. What should simple to it? It can actually affect our profit margin. Grading and standardizing theory. The goal, why do we grade and standardize? The goal is because we want to get better prices for our commodity. And we're going to grade in different prices to attract. And we're going to band no, don't never. Our àwọn kan wà ní báńkì àwọn kan wà ní báńkì táwọn bá dé bá nínú 24 hours láti eat you know how many hours wọ́n máa ní eat. Ṣé wá rí iye tí àwọn tó wà ní báńkì ń sọ ó yàtọ̀ sí iye táwọn tó wà ní báńkì yàtọ̀ sí àìsàn. Jerry, when it comes to business, when you grade, you are talking about price differential. Grading has to do with price differential. So, if you want to, ẹlòmíì ò máa ń go jẹ gàrí ìlọra, kò bá ló ta, kò bá ní ìtọ̀kan kò kàn, inú ṣáàtì fún ni. Ẹlòmíì tẹ̀lé, kò sí bébí yẹn ṣe pàtó tí ò bá rí gàrí ẹ̀fà. Kàkílà mọ̀ pé tábà lè fi ń pa wọ́n ó yàtọ̀ síra mọ́ tó bá lè fi ń pa mí sí tẹ́mi ìtọ̀ lè fi ń pa mọ́ tí kẹta lè fi ń pa ó yàtọ̀ síra mọ́ ebi tèmi bóyá mi ti jẹun àárọ̀ ẹlòmíì lè jẹ́ pé kò ti jẹun látàn ẹlòmíì lè ó dẹ̀ pé bóyá ó ti ń gbàwé bíbí bọ̀ tó ebi yàtọ̀ síbi ebi ní grade. So when we are marketing and we are trying to have high income, we should know that when we grade and we standardize, it has to do with our income. Sometimes you grade using size and shape. Horticultural institute lawa yìí. A máa ń ṣe èso, a máa ń ṣe oríṣiríṣi ẹ̀fọ́ ewébẹ̀. Àwọn tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ ní fruit juice company, some of them come to patronize us. Òkè afẹ́ ra èso. Woman kan wà tó máa ń wá ra ọ̀sán tó máa fi ń ṣe àwọn fruit juice yìí. Ṣẹ́rí wọ́n ṣe calibrate machine wọn. Ó ní size ọ̀sán tí wọ́n lè rà. Tọ́sán yẹn bá kéré jù, kò lè gba machine. Tó bá tóbi jù, kò lè ṣiṣẹ́ pẹ̀lú machine. Only size. The same thing, if you are an agripreneur, remember I said something, I'll keep referring to you, that the market should drive your production. If you supply something that does not meet the need of the customer, I will produce nǹkan tí ó meet the target of the customer. You need that. Àbí wọ́n consider that bí ìkókan wé sẹ́fẹ̀sẹ̀ ṣáà gbélẹ̀ bí a basket of some 730,000 yẹn. Ó jẹ́ gbélẹ̀ tó bá gba 5,000 ní mo kàn ṣàánú ẹ̀ ní o. Not committing. So when you grade using size and shape. Sometimes it's the moisture content that you use in grading. Sometimes it's the purity level. Our time say what, for example, most of me àwọn kan máa ń ṣa ẹ̀wà. Wọ́n yẹ pé wọ́n ti ṣa òkúta kúrò bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n á tà. Àwọn kan wà tó ṣe pé àtòkúta àti ṣáàbù àti gbogbo wọn á dà papọ̀ ni. Gbogbo ẹ̀ náà lọ máa wọ́n kóńgò. Ìdajì lè jẹ́ ìdọ̀tí. Wọ́n wá pè ní pé àtẹ̀lé lè ní ìdàmẹ́jọ góńgò yìí 1.5 ní o. Ẹni tó ti ṣa tiẹ̀ tó ti mọ́kùnra òkúta kúrò bẹ́ẹ̀ tí o ti lọ sí kọ̀ọ̀kan bẹ́ẹ̀ tí o sì pé bóyá o fẹ́ dé lóṣẹ̀ fẹ́ máa ṣá wá sọ fún ẹ pé 2,000 ní góńgò eléyìí o. Wọ́n ní wàá yára ẹ̀ ń pè tí o fẹ́ rà àbó rà. Kò dẹ̀ ní ìfẹ́ tó ń ta 2,000 yẹn ò ní méjì profit. Ó mọ àwọn tó máa tà fún. Kò ní tà fún àwọn tó yẹ pé àwọn bóyá àwọn tó ṣiṣẹ́ ní báńkì àbí other category to say these people know value of what they want to pay for and they are ready to pay for it. So think of saying on that, say on this set to get out, tí o lè rí ta o, tó bá ti mọ customer ẹ̀ tó mọ nǹkan tó ń fẹ́. Àwọn ará Èkó ni wọ́n já sí ní dáadáa. I remember those days in Lagos, tó bá bóyá wọ́n ṣe ṣe sí mi o, tó bá dé ọjà Èkó, ilá tí wọ́n ti gbé ó wà bẹ̀, kò bá rọ́. Ṣẹ́rí àtàrí lọ ẹ ṣe ṣẹ́rí gbà yẹn nínú road of buy wọ́n á ti target àwọn bankers yẹn tó ti mọ̀ wípé àṣekúdóró gbogbo ni wọ́n tètè close wọ́n wá lọ ta wọ́n ti combine àti àwọn ti gbélé wọ́n ti jẹ ìta wọ́n ti ṣe gbogbo ìyàn tó bá ṣe báyìí wọ́n kọ̀ máa lè they would have added their own profit value.
So it's just for you to be able to study the market and for you to be able to tap into the opportunity in the market. Our first Taiwan náà, àwọn ìwà bí wà tẹ́lẹ̀ tó wọ́n lè fi iṣẹ́ sí wẹ́wẹ́ bóyá in the process of transportation bá ti sọ láàárọ̀ wọ́n ti fẹ́ ó ti di èrú àwọn ọ̀kan dẹ̀ wà tó ṣe pé wọ́n ṣe kí ni o wọ́n dúró lódì ṣe tó máa tàbá yàtọ̀ síra wọn. So ẹ tó bá mọ̀ pé onírú àwọn bàbá yẹn you should go extra mile to stop them. Àwọn tó bá ń tẹ ìlú náà máa ń dábàá ṣe wọ́n á pè kàn lójú ire wọ́n á pè kàn lẹ́ṣà. Something can be done across board in any commodity. Bóyá àwọn ráìtì kan wà àbáwọn pẹ̀lú fún wa ti ṣe wípé àwọn eléyìí tó bá tètè ta wọn ṣe é stop wọn máa bàjẹ́. Why don't you just stop them? Ẹ ta àwọn fáwọn bóyá tó ń ṣe túbó àbáwọn tó ń ṣe òògùn. You will sell it for them at a lower price. Tí wọ́n ṣe báwọn tó ń lọ sí àwọn tó ń ta oúnjẹ adìyẹ náà ni. Okay, ṣe bá ta broken fún àwọn náà ni. So if you sell them broken, maize, they are ready to buy it. But àwọn tó bá fẹ́ lò fún some other things, àwọn lè insist pé àwọn ìfẹ́rù fún bẹ́ẹ̀. So you know your market, know your customers, and sort according to the needs of your customer. Customers are always right to say. Aunty, ìjẹ́ bá tún sọ̀rọ̀, ìjẹ́ bá tún sọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́sìn ní ilé wọn wá take a class. You come and take the next class, I will just give you the microphone. PI. Am I talking? Question. Look at that thing. I put something there. Standard. Follow Nigerian grain standards or the international codex for export. Ṣé wọ́n pín ọ̀kan béèrè question fúnlẹ̀ mo mọ̀ mọ̀ dájú lójú. Mo ní bóyá mo máa sọ̀rọ̀ débẹ̀ ó lè dó lè má dùn. But inú mi dùn pé kí I wà lórí ìlú. You see, the way we operate our market in Nigeria, is not the way we should normally operate. And it's not even the way the international standard, international market or the export market operate. Nǹkan tí bí i àìsọ̀lẹ̀ ẹ̀kan, wípé tí wọ́n bá fi àwọn pesticide sí àwọn nǹkan oúnjẹ wa, ká máa ń tà síta for 3 months. Wọ́n sọ fún wa pé wípé ní Nàìjíríà, o lè yàn kán wá béèrè question kan lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí àìpé tó bá ṣe wípé èèyàn ti fi pesticide sí particular grain for 3 to 10 times. Ó wá rí i suddenly price appreciate. Àsìkò tó lè yẹ kó ta òsì pé bóyá ó fi sí ní irú bíi December sí ó yẹ kó ta after 3 months lẹ́sẹ̀ ṣàlàyé lẹ́ẹ̀kan bóyá April upward. Ó wá di January end February ló wá di pé price kìíní ìdọ́gbò times 3 ẹ̀ o. Ṣáà ni wọ́n pọ́n ṣe sí kìíní báyìí. Ṣáà ni wọ́n pọ́n ṣe sí báyìí. Kúkú lè wò tẹ bá rí lójú pé àjẹ̀bí kẹ́míkà sí ni kò sí ìdẹ́rẹ́ fi mọ̀. Pé kí ni kéèyàn ṣe? Pé tẹ́yìn báyìí kíyàn bá ní kéèyàn dúró. Price bí dọ́là ṣe ń lo òkè tán lọ́ta ló tẹ̀lé láti price ẹ̀ tó crash. Káwọn kan yóò bá fi ṣe pé nígbà tí price wà tàbí bó ń ṣe tó tó ni o tì mọ́lé price wà fọ́n sí pé kí ni kéèyàn ṣe láàrin. Bí o dáhùn question, wọ́n ní mo máa refer directly on direct, but inú mi ló gbẹ̀ wà lórí ìlú. Sherry, in Nigeria, we have a standard in Nigeria, but we do not follow it. Every something can carry goes to the market with anything. So yeah, only go to the minute, the man on the gold. One, the coloring. Oh, he said, going old and cover and what is going to man from? Oh, then, Taloja. Any more, the matter that the very good. Say, go to the coloring, coloring one, the man from you. You don't know. Our market cannot control. Our market cannot control. Every something can hide. Bottle water. Mo bí tó ti ń bottle omi yẹn. Ó lè jẹ́ omi tó kàwé èèyàn kọ́kọ́ fi ìwé pé yes, ló kàn fi ìwé pé yes. Ní Nàìjíríà yìí, àjọ máa lábẹ́ ṣe kí ní kan lábẹ́rẹ̀ sí ní bottle àbí pure water. Never subject àwọn pure water this laboratory analysis. Ayé ọmọ school tó wà nù omi yẹn tó ní òòrì. Ẹ̀wọ̀n abáyé. But we are in a society where standards are not followed. Auntie, come and take this class. Come and take this class now. Everyone, but they all do it. Come and take this class. What is your name? What's your name? So, it's very important for us. This is the last slide we are going to do, but back to the one I was talking to you about. Don't follow standards. If you want to export your product outside the country, which is not important, I want more export to commodity. They started small. So don't feel that I can watch the class that want to sort of export. I want people in and jump. No. There are people that export ugu and for ugu that export out of this country on a daily basis. I've been to the airport on a study tour like àwọn ẹ̀fọ́ yìí wọ́n dẹ̀ command very good price outside Nigeria. Ọmọ báwa Nàìjíríà akọ́ni kò sí ìlú tàdé báyìí oúnjẹ Nàìjíríà máa wá káàkiri. Bẹ́ẹ̀ yóò bá ti ń jà màkà lójú tó ká ẹ̀rọ ìwálẹ̀ fún ewu gbogbo oúnjẹ òṣì tó ń fún wa yìí. Àwọn tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ bísíǹnẹ̀sì oúnjẹ lábúrọ̀dẹ̀ mọ̀ náà èyí náà mọ̀ bó ṣe ń lọ. Ẹlòmíì lè nà fífi bẹ́ẹ̀ ti ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹja ẹ̀pọ̀ sí ìlú mi lọ. People are ready to spend money. Bóyá $100 ni wọ́n fẹ́ fẹ́ ṣe àmàlà iṣẹ́ àní àti ẹ̀jẹ̀ ẹ̀ bá ń wá. Ó lè máa ṣe every day ló fẹ́ máa jẹ́ but it's very good. So the business of food is a good business. Kò kí ń kùtà láti Nàìjíríà dé ìlú òkú. Tó wá jẹ́ pé agri-business person ló jẹ́. Tó ṣe wípé, like I said, you may not even be the person that is growing it. But if you want to be involved in the export market, you have to be very, very careful. Àwọn people are going to say àwọn kọ́ ni wọ́n máa ń sè. But what they do is that wọ́n máa lọ rà lọ́dọ̀ àwọn bàbá yìí, àwọn tó ń bì. Wọ́n wá package ẹ̀, wọ́n á sort ẹ̀, wọ́n á grade ẹ̀, wọ́n tó export ẹ̀. Ẹlòmíì lè jẹ́ kọ́dọ̀ àwọn ní warehouse. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni tó ní warehouse ẹ̀ ti lọ ra ń gbé. Ó fẹ́ tún ta, ó ti grade, ó ti sort ẹ̀. So very unique about the national market. They have what they call a minimum residual level of chemicals one gbọ́dọ̀ ní oúnjẹ. Àwọn máa ń test nǹkan tí wọ́n ń jẹ o. And they will do a random sampling. Ẹ lè gbé 1,000 bags of maize sílẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ fẹ́ export. Kò sí ọ̀nà. Wọ́n lè mú kan bí. Wọ́n rìn bá àkúnyọ̀ kan bẹ̀rẹ̀. Wọ́n rìn bá àkúnyọ̀ kan bẹ̀rẹ̀. Sọ́mọ́ fi lè mú ẹni sample. Tó jẹ́ wípé kẹ́míkà tó wà pé ó ti tayọ nǹkan tó ń fẹ́ gbogbo kìíní yẹn wé. Kò bá ti dé ìlú wọn báyìí, wọ́n á dá padà. Nígbà wọn ò dá padà mọ́ títí torí wọ́n ní tó bá ní kọ́ dá padà, wọ́n á lọ tà sí bòmí tó wọ́n á complicate ẹni tó tajà yóò ṣe kí ni o. Ó jẹ gbèsè $1, kò tí ẹ jẹ gbèsè náírà, ó jẹ gbèsè $1. At the same time, tó bá ṣe kó follow standard tó ṣe kó follow it, tí ò wá short cut, tó bá ṣe fẹ́ make business, á make it in dollars náà, á make profit in dollars, á dẹ̀ make loss in dollars. So you can also be an agri-premium that wants to be involved in the export market, but you must be able to follow the rules and regulations. You can't cut corners in the international market. Nigerian market, that's the man cut corner. But in the international market, you cannot cut corners. And if you cannot cut corners in the international market, this is the way I want to answer the question of David. You say, the number of reforms to be chemical thing. As you go to the airport, see the first chemical at the warehouse. As you go your TV, now you want to go and sell it because of this is where your conscience comes into play. This is where your conscience comes into play. And Nigerians, we claim our land was very religious. In the whole world, if you set the standard, some country ABC, also can be one Nigeria, whether as Muslim, whether as Christian. Ẹ mọ̀ pé Yorùbá máa ń kòwé pé bá a bá sọ̀kò lọ́jà. A máa rí ẹni tó máa ń ẹ̀mí ò mọ̀ sí tó yé wa. Tó bá ṣe rí pé bírèdì tó dà ní, yóò mọ bí tó máa rìn dé o. Ó mọ bí tó máa ṣe pé èèyàn kan ló kàn rà lọ́pọ̀ kan tó gbé lọ sí ibi tó ṣe wípé àwọn fámìlì tiẹ̀ wà ń bẹ̀. Wọ́n bá dẹ̀ wà ló bá di kíni o. So this is where your conscience and your patriotism come to play. Sometimes owó kọ́ ni gbogbo nǹkan. Ṣùgbọ́n plus mo fi sí. Ṣùgbọ́n plus mo kọ́kọ́ sọ ní owó kọ́ ni gbogbo kí ni mo sọ. Wọ́n ti gbọ́ dáná kẹ́tù. Mo ní sometimes owó kọ́ ni gbogbo. Ó ṣe kókó náà. Tí o bá ń ṣe torí owó ni báwo ni young able man báyìí máa dúró sí nínú òru báyìí wọ́n máa sọ lecture on top of what Nigeria bàjẹ́. So ẹjọ́ nítorí ọlọ́run P.I. I don't know whether you have something to chip in on this particular issue of Amanda. Ẹ bá pàtẹ́wọ́ pé wọ́n ti dé.
I think our facilitator has said it. Yes. Put preservative in your farm produce. But unexpectedly, there's a price rise. And they're like, this is an opportunity for me to say, I beg you, you dare not say, for any reason. Why? You know, why? In everything we do, she has mentioned something. Conscience. But most of us, as we are today, our conscience are shared and dead. And two, for everything we want to do, knowledge, what now speaks. For everything we do, knowledge is very, very important. This produce warehousing, grading and sorting and the like, it requires in-depth of knowledge. Even our old mamas in the village, they know what to warehouse and they know when to sell it. I make mention of a Foxtrot the other time. For example, you can save your grains with Foxtrot alone and sell at any time. But with knowledge, your Foxtrot tablets, don't just drop it inside your grain. Traditional method, they will use rag to tie it and drop it inside. I will tell you this day, no. You use paper oil. The same thing used to wrap our cake. And when you want to drop it inside your grain, you don't just drop it here. You tie it with rope and tie it with the sand before you sew it. So that even common sense, when you are taking it to the market, you lose the sand somewhere and you remove the Foxtrot. Because I could remember I worked with a poultry farm. We bought maize, moved the maize into the feed mill, processed the feed, and used the maize to formulate feed, and we've observed that our layers are just dying. Just because of the octocin in the maize. Even before you carry your maize to the market, you remove the remnant of that octocin out. If you use a rag, they normally use a crack. The thing would have, how do I put it now? Would have dissolved, and some grains around it would have been contaminated for life. So, common sense, you remove the octocin before you take your grains to the market. And if you are using pesticides like TVET, some of us don't know that the active ingredient in our TVET is the same thing with this other one. Sniper. It's the same DDVP. The same chemical. Once you apply DDVT or snipers in your grain, you don't sell until 5 months. For no reason. Apart from the you may not know your family member enter the market, buy the grain, and maybe some days later they send the news back to you that they lost somebody at the other side of the country. And you will be praying against the witches and wizards, not knowing that you are the one that killed the person. So, knowledge. And here now, I bring in safety rule. So, safety rule demands that you remove that conservative like the octocin from your grain before you carry it to market. And as I've told you, if you're able to store your grain for up to 3 to 5 months, that octocin would have vanished. It doesn't last up to 3 months inside your grain. The idea to octocin can stay should be like 1 to 2 months inside that paper foil. But regardless of that, you make sure you remove the red plant. If it's only the paper foil that you remove it before we sell. But the economic part of it, as we want to sell, you preserve 100 bags of maize, you want to sell, but before you sell, you now want to put the octocin. People that will do it for you will not do it for you free of cash. Because they will discount it in the bag, they will carry it, open it. In fact, to sow a bag of maize is as much as a 200 naira. The carrier will collect like a 500 naira, maybe presently cost up to 1,000 naira. Those are extra costs. So you weigh all these things before you embark on your warehouse. So if you know you won't be able to do it properly, avoid the cost, it's better you don't do it at all. And as we normally say in Yoruba land, be obaye o. So let your conscience judge you far about the monetary value. I think that settles it. At least I've stopped maize, I think it was like the year 2007 or thereabout. There was a particular market there, I was doing my postgraduate at the Lord, I was at the best today. One market woman that knows that I stopped maize was just calling me, okay, come on. They are selling a bag of maize, 18,000, 20,000 naira today. And my professor is one student. I have no escape route. Before the following market day, just 4 days in Tapa, the price dropped to 16,000 naira. So I lost 4,000 naira per bag. Everyone is lost there. I could have me, I'm not the woman, tell somebody to open the store for you, carry the maize, go and sell. But I knew what I put here. I dare not. I wait there was another package. I lost 4,000 naira per bag. I didn't die.
We shall really appreciate our PI.
lucky to be in this class. Now, if you understand what one for any practical experience, you should theory now. Thank you so much, sir, for that experience. I'm also learning. I'm learning a lot. I don't know about you. I'm learning too. That's great. So, somebody wants to talk.
Thank you, ma'am. Second question, you talk about the transport foraging. In a situation whereby you want to, as a small scale farm, like as I say, I'm not mobile, and I have my own products in the farm. But you said we must know how we will package our products that we will not export. You can see in the market almost 3% of the goods were like orange, cucumber, and golden melon, because it happened to me last year. I have golden melon. You know golden melon, there is no way they pack it. See? But in that situation, and I think I'm not mobile, that I can package my food. Those that have one.
Thank you very much. Now, Bobo, what where did you be? You know, he's always asking very practical questions. Like I said the other time. Okay, you have grown a particular commodity. You don't have means of transporting it. So for what I'm selected for it, to have a package, to share it, we have to share it. Okay, who are interested in all this about the. That is why you should take this class as an opportunity. Look, it is not by chance that you are meeting together at this point. Do you believe that? Out of everybody in Ibadan, for example, why is it that you are the set of people that are selected to come to this? So make use of that's what I said to you about the opportunity the other time. The opportunity of the elevator pitch we talked about. When you see an opportunity, make use of the opportunity. If you interact with the you understand? Conceive a potential, agribusiness you want to do. You are going to go for internship, the BIPI. You are going to go for internship. Everyone is okay. You got to go and share it. I think you're going to share it. They are your major meta. Maybe somebody will be in charge of the transport. Go and negotiate. Look for transporters. There are people that do cold storage transportation. Irú àwọn vegetable tomato tè bàjẹ́ àwọn kan wà tó jẹ́ wípé cold storage ni wọ́n ṣe van tó máa gbé wá bí cooling van ni kò ní tútùtù tó jẹ́ pé gbogbo kìíní yẹn á rọ rárá á pọ̀ jẹ́ kó tutù jẹ́ pé tó bá kó sínú van lọ. They do it a lot in Lagos. I don't know whether anybody knows about it. They do a lot of cooling vans in Lagos. Jẹ́ pé tó bá ti lọ ra àwọn produce yẹn báyìí fresh wọ́n ṣe rà á lóko ló máa jẹ ọjà. What customize our vans in such a way. So 2, 3, 4 people can come together and say, let us go into transportation as an animal. It is study marketing. Okay, but I my let's go into that. You know where I want to transport them. But you are doing your own with a difference. You are doing your own with a difference. Oh, but if you want to this particular commodity, what they produce in this particular place. But some of the people in point A, point B, a lot of losses have been occurred. So along that value chain, you want to tap that opportunity and say, okay, I want to go to this place. Now when you take position, I want to be into this transportation of this commodity from point A to point B. Our men is all what are the things that we need to do it? That's the same question, the way I answered that. Any of these value chains you want to go in, you need further education in that area, particularly by the people that are already running it at the level. This is just a training class. We can't give you details of every node that you need. It's just to stimulate you to think about what you can do. And when you're talking as a business, you're not talking only about farming. There's some people farming, you're talking only about start them and make away. So to be able to identify a particular problem and how to solve it, you may not be able to solve it as an individual at a starting stage. When you come together, eventually, when you go to the business, and you only decide that you have fun, okay. In fact, that kind of business, you can even approach somebody that you when you go all invest here. You might need business idea. A job, the value fund. One of the place to one move on commodity. It's a matter of delay. We look at buy a most of the but only a father before eventually becomes your own. And if you are doing it as a group, the same way you work out together. So there is no problem with that solution. So the whole essence of the story is just to stimulate our interest so that we can look inward and see that as far as the agricultural landscape is concerned, there are a lot of opportunities that we can tap into. I don't know whether I've answered it. Okay.
When transporting golden melon from one place to the other or from the farm to the market, it is encouraged to be put in a tray like tomatoes, like this hybrid tomatoes, because they fresh product and that's a fragile skin. So it should be arranged in this basket. Crate, yes. Tray basket. And it should not be filled to the brim. If you put a tray on the other down, if we press down and mess up the body of the other one. And at times, when we are transporting that from the farm, at times we are not filling to the beam, we arrange sticks on those trays so the base of those ones will not sink into the one beneath. So they will just be, they will not be stacked more than 2 or 3 on a row. If not, they will mesh together and it will not be marketable. So after that part, we usually have cash but it will be minimal.
Thank you very much. Let's go. So we have just practicalized what we have also said, that when you are starting, you know what can arrange you should go out to later on we have referred to it when we're talking about theatre. And that we can also use a wooden divider so that one tray does not rest on the other one. Yes, somebody has a question.
Yeah, good afternoon. Mine is not a question, it's like a bit of a contribution. Although we need to control the pest in the storage house, but one of those causes of this pest is not even, okay, let me say it starts from the feed. When there is a pest on this our produce on it, if it is not well managed on the field, when we take them to the storage house, that's when the problem starts. And secondly again, I store maize now. Just say for instance, I store maize for this December. When did I plan to sell this? Maybe the next 3 to 4 months. We should know the kind of pesticides to use to preserve it. So the one that you know that, okay, if I apply it to my produce, after like 4 to 5 months, I won't be able to sell it. You shouldn't use it. And again, to the consumer, I don't know the severity of the infestation. And to the consumers, okay, for instance now, I store my maize now. I want to sell it in January. I notice that there are some evils on it. If I take it to the market, I know consumer will not buy it. But But when they see the one that there's no people on it, they will buy because they say it's good. I know you will use to get quality value for your money. But some farmers, they are avoiding the use of these chemicals. Okay, let me just say it. Although it might not even pay them, but because of what, they are conscious of food health. Especially in vegetables too. Some people, when they get to the market now, when they see effort, they will say they're not buying it. But when they see what I see, away French data, they will buy it. Then talking about and like, if I bring my tomato to the market now, tomato is okay, I follow safety procedure in my preparation and everything. So I ensure that it is health friendly. Tí bá ní pé 1,500 ló fẹ́ tà, ẹni tó jẹ́ pé bóyá ó kọ̀la tó gbé wá tó bó wá sí ọjà ló fi ní ṣàbùtà kò sí kan ló kàn. Èmi wọ́n gbogbo pé gbogbo nǹkan tó yẹ kí n ṣe síbẹ̀ kò ṣe síbẹ̀ mo follow withdrawal period. Kí wọ́n sọ pé kí sọ́ta tèmi ní 1,500 ẹlẹ́mẹ̀ta tẹ̀ ní 1,000 àwọn yẹn máa ní àrà kí ló ṣe gold ló fi fi ṣe ẹni. Consumers they don't appreciate. That's why I have to make my money. Ọ̀tọ́ bá wù ìtẹ̀ ṣáàjẹ.
Thank you very much. Kí lorúkọ yín àti? Oh, Halima, there are a lot of Halimas here. Good. Yes, they are also giving us another angle to it. That sometimes,
particularly one group two.
That sometimes it is even the consumers that push this thing. That push this thing. But Halima, the way I'm going to answer you is this. You know, you should just, we are going to talk about, well, maybe tomorrow, or we can start today. You know, I mentioned something that the market should drive your production. Show up how many man try to decide that I want company supermarket. What them we pay price is not the same thing as the one. There are organically grown crops. There are some that are not organically grown. Organically grown, they more fertilizer, only chemicals. They go buy more fertilizer. Fertilizer more be compost. I think the compost shape who about the building for the growth crop. There are people even outside the country. Because one people to and how much you don't see. These are organically grown crops. These are non-organically grown crops. This 5 kg of non-organically grown crop is selling for $20. Organically grown one is selling for $100. People will buy what they want to buy. There are some people that they will not patronize any market, any grocery store, unless organically grown. One low way. Only the everyone need help challenge. Don't take anything that is not organically grown. And the market system there, they will not be deceived. You won't be surprised if even in Nigeria, there are organically grown crops. There are not organically grown crops. So shall we pay over the jury? Because they will look alike. People, because of everything we are talking, maybe the Nigerian factor and the lack of consciousness and importance to it, only decide that non-organically grown here, need the same price. Don't are organic. There is nothing for you to test whether it is organic or not organic. People do that. We have a lot of trust issues in our country. We have a lot of trust issues. You understand? In my next live presentation that I will use to round up in here in Ferrara, you will see the way people do when it comes to weighing. Like when you are going to want to talk to me, go on. I just keep here. I want to.
Thank you so much. I made mention of knowledge the other time. Storage requires, grain storage requires in-depth of knowledge. You don't just pack your grains after packing, put a preservative, then put it in the warehouse or store, lock it, They target, okay, you are storing for 3-5 months, and you come back after 3 months or 5 months, and you expect it to maintain the same grade. It doesn't happen. So you have to monitor, what else please? You have to be monitoring it. And in the course of monitoring it, you know you cannot be opening the bag to check whether there's weevil inside or not. Some parameters for monitoring your grains. At least once a week, you must open your store. And even start from whether you open your store or not. If you store grains inside this place now, and weed infestation is already setting in, gradually from the entrance, you see weevils crawling out one by one. That's an indicator that something serious already going inside. Even if no weevil is coming out, open the store, you see them on the wall. Then, if you are the type that have good listening ear, you hear it crack. That means you are already destroying your grain inside the bag. But to forestall that, in fact, not to give room for that at all. One house, please. Despite all the preservative measures you have taken, common sense or knowledge says, if not once in a month, if not every 2 weeks, at least once in a month, apply your insecticide. You just spray, you fumigate the room. You fumigate the room every 2 weeks or once a month. Once you are doing that, this thing, your grain, maize, global grow weevil, they come from outside. It's just like mosquito. Me, I don't deal with mosquito at all. I went somewhere last week. I supposed to stay till the following day. They took me around all the guest house, hotel in the place. Once I enter the room, the first thing I will check is the mosquito net. They took me to like a 5 guest house, none of them with good mosquito nets. By 6:30, I started to move back to London. I can't cope with mosquito. I allow mosquito to bite me for one night, then I will be under the oppression of malaria for like 2-3 weeks. I don't allow it at all. So the same thing, I'm not that devil, but what you know is what you know. I know that if there's no mosquito bite, you cannot get malaria. So the same thing, you don't allow this weevil to enter your store. Your grain cannot be invested once you've done the first preservation. So you fumigate your warehouse or storage room in and out. Even when you are not opening the something, spray the one outside. Spray the outside. No matter how big your storage room is, it will not cost you more than 1 bottle of the DD Force, 1 liter, which I think is around 15,000 naira now. So is it expensive to fumigate an environment? Maybe the person that will spray the collect 5,000 naira, you bought the DD Force of 15,000 naira, make it 20,000 naira to preserve a warehouse where you are storing 100 bags of grains. So 20,000 divided by 20,000 naira divided by 100, how much is that? Very, very negligible. So, and that one will give you assurance that, okay, your stock produce, they are intact. Honestly, once you put in the best preservatives and you are doing fumigation in and out, your grain can be there for over a year without any investigation. Take it or you leave it. Then, as regards this storage, there's what we call quality control. You can't be the referee. You can't be a player at the same time be the referee. but there are rules for every game. Unfortunately, people that are in charge of the control, they are the so-called NAFDAC. But they inspect every produce before they enter the farm. Once you pay the charge at the checkpoint, that's all. Nobody monitors what enters our food market, our produce market in Nigeria, except our conscience. Nobody mentioned the regulatory aspect of it. And as regards the organic or inorganic, to the best of my practical and commercial knowledge, the truth says that the farm produce in Nigerian market is not less than 70% organic. It's not less than 70% organic. Because for some practicing farmers among us, how many of us are really using this organic manure fertilizer? How many of us are really using it? When we talk of our fruits, except vegetables, when we talk of our fruits, orange, mango, pineapple, palm oil, how many farmers are applying inorganic manure? Even both organic and inorganic. How many farmers are putting inorganic manure on their coconut, or mango, or citrus? Absolutely no, almost nobody, except some few commercial farms. So, as regards the issue of whether organic produce or inorganic in our market, not less than 70% of what's done in our market are organic. I can guarantee that. And if you know any farmer in Oyo State or in Ibadan here that is applying fertilizer on his coconut, mango, citrus, let me know. I doubt it. I doubt it. I think.
Let's go to the last part of today's presentation. This one is very brief because it's something we all know, or something that we are familiar with. I know people are tired, they want to go away. Don't worry, I won't take time. So, what are the different methods of weighing our commodities and preparing them for the market? What are the various ways of weighing our crops before preparing them for the market? I'd like to start by first telling you why we do what we are doing. Why do we need to weigh? You know, we are potential businessmen and women, when you are weighing a particular thing, you know, you weigh because you sell maybe kilogram. It's all about money. You want to make money. But at the same time, make sure that you are making money in a clean way. Don't make, get me right. You don't measure an 10 kg food stuff and charge for 12 kg. You are not going to earn people's trust. And when you don't earn people's trust, you are going to lose out in the long run. Do we understand? We have different means of measurement. For example, you can use the manual one, the normal one we use, For those of us that are familiar with the market, the local market, Congo la marking one go abi. Àwọn náà dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé Congo kó oríṣiríṣi. Àwọn kan fẹ́ tún ọjà kà wọ́n ní Congo tó máa ń lò. Ordinary person bí èmi àti níta fẹ́ lọ ra nǹkan ní Congo tó máa fi wọ̀ fún wa. Tó bá ti mú Congo yẹn jáde, àwọn òkú dà kankan mọ̀. Just want to buy what you want to consume for your household. Ọ̀fẹ́ ra Congo bíi mẹ́ta bíi márùn-ún fẹ́ jẹ́. Ẹ tó fẹ́ tún àwọn ní Congo tó máa. Tó bá ti rẹ̀ dáadáa ní ẹ̀ Congo tó. Àwọn fún àwọn kó bá fún Congo tí wọ́n lọ ní. Wọ́n á láwọn ti mú Congo tàwọn wá. And we are paying the same pricing for the same measure. So somebody that wants to be an agripreneur, hello, an agripreneur that wants to remain in the business and keep afloat, you must be ready to earn people's trust. So there you pay one more prayer. Try to ya ilé lẹ́fẹ̀ẹ́ lọ ẹ lọ síbẹ̀ kò ní ṣe báyìí fún mi. Ọjà ilé ìwọ̀n lóòótọ́ ṣùgbọ́n kò ní fi igbá kan kankan fún mi. A lot of in both religion, I'm very sure that in Islam there's a whole lot of instances where people that weigh commodities and cheat their customers are caught. And God says He will not put what we call al-barika in such transactions. Now, al-barika is not only money. Al-barika transcends money. Nobody has seen the last barika. I'm a robot. Al-barika is the whole. Al-barika transcends to the essence where owó tó bá pa níbi tí ní ẹ̀gbọ́n òní fi ṣe nǹkan tó dà. Kò kí ń ṣèpè. So it is the extent mo ní ó ju owó lọ pé ó transcend owó nǹkan tó kó sí ní ó ju owó lọ. So the issue of kéèyàn máa cheat èèyàn terms of kéèyàn máa wó èèyàn ó lọ fáà gan o ìgbàgbà níjọ language ó lọ fáà gan. So we should hold on to this and know that whenever we are weighing and we want to remain in that business and we want to be trusted, we should know that we should not cheat our God of the scale you out. Ẹlòmíì weighing scale yẹn ó ti yí tó yẹ pé òun nìkan ló lè fi wé ló lè pé ó ti tamper pẹ̀lú ẹ̀. So there are different methods of, I want to just silence my phone. There are different methods that we can use for weighing. We can use the electronic platform scales. Gbogbo alamọ̀ wípé a lè lo electronic platform láti fi weigh ní. A lè lo scale, 0 scale before loading each bag. A lè lo digital scale láti fi weigh. A lè lo box for box commodities. You can use platforms such as platform scales. There's something we call platform scales. This is actually used for bulky and commodities. Then before you actually weigh, you need to prepare your commodities for the market so that because I fair way and make sure we pay nǹkan tó jẹ́ pé kò ní sharp tàbí ìdọ̀tí nínú bó ṣe ń ṣàlàyé lẹ́ẹ̀kan. You want to weigh a Congo of zinc, for example. Make sure you first clean it. Remove the stones, the sharp, àtàwọn ọ̀dọ̀ tó wà bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ̀ sharp lọ́tọ̀. Tó bá níbi tó ẹ bá yẹ pé ètò níbi fífẹ́ ni káfẹ́. Tó bá jẹ́ pé ètò níbi báàgì ni ká make sure pé gbogbo àwọn steps yìí á bàjẹ́ dáadáa kó tó di pé a wé e. Ẹ má jẹ́ ká wé sharp ẹ̀wà ká wé ẹ̀wọ̀n ẹ̀wà gbogbo fúnra wọn. At the end of the day, we'll be weighing
both the good quality and the dirty, I'm aware about it. And let's make sure that the weight scale we are using is calibrated accurately, so that whenever we are supplying, if we have a particular market we are supplying to, and we bring our commodities to that place, even the customer can supply can go to the supermarket, for example, that supplies, okay, 5 kg of this, leleyo, 5 kg of maize, leleyo, 5 kg of garri, leleyo, that we want supply to them. Wọn ò ní gbélé bẹ̀ kan tó àwọn pé ẹ lọ wọn kìíní yẹn dáadáa o. Ìjọ yẹn tí wọ́n ní 5 kg nígbà tá a mọ̀ tàbí tó ní scale 4.5 là bá ń bẹ̀. Ẹ má jẹ́ ká jẹ́ irú business design. Tó bá ti rí wa yí pé níbi àwọn ọmọ kéékèèké yìí ta ti mú owó níbẹ̀, ta ti mú òjò níbẹ̀, we have lost the trust. We cannot retain that market. Mistake lè wáyé. Bọ̀tùbọ̀ tí èèyàn bá ṣe lé tó tún dọ̀la tó tún ṣe tó tún dọ̀tún la tó tún ṣẹlẹ̀ kò kí ṣe mistake. Táwọn ní ó ti di kí ni o, ó mọ̀ ọmọ ṣe. So another business person, tí wọ́n á gbé supermarket kan ní kékeré lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ lé yín ló fẹ́ máa supply. Make sure that what you are supplying them is well weighed. If you know you are supplying 20 kg of maybe garri ẹ̀gbá, for example, wọ́n tó ṣe ní nígbà kò pé 20 kg mọ́. Tó bá ti bóyá o ní bóyá bí 18 kg, for example, o ti weigh mẹ́ta ń bẹ̀ 5 kg. Ìkan tó kù tí o pé 5 kg yẹn, weigh ẹ̀ ní 3 kg kó o dẹ̀ kọ́ label pé 3 kg lélẹ̀ kò tó 5 kg. Kò sí nǹkan tó fẹ́ gbà lára wa. You are only creating a market for yourself. You are carving a niche for yourself. Because for information, ó lè má jẹ́ pé wọ́n nìkan ló ń ta gàrí ẹ̀gbá. Another person may be bringing gàrí ẹ̀gbá dé. Tọ́wọ́ ìsọ̀dọ̀ eléyìí tó lé pé ó dín 1.1 kg. Ó dọ̀la ó dín 0.3 kg. Tó bá lọ̀tún láwọn àjà, ẹ má gbé wá àwọn èèyàn tí máa bèrè gàrí yẹn ní. Tàbá ní ìdí àmàtò. It's already sending message to the as far as that supermarket is concerned, better services there. And this translates to wherever we are doing. So whatever we are doing, and it has to do with weighing and attaching prices to it, ẹ jẹ́ ká máa ṣòótọ́. Torí òótọ́ yìí lájẹ́ ká ṣe kí ni o, lájẹ́ ká make a difference. That's what will keep us in the business and will make people to trust us. So kọ́lọ̀ ń kó ṣàánú fún wa. Are there any intervention? Any questions, any queries? Should we do our quiz today, or you want us to do it tomorrow? You said? Oh, I think the class is finished. Let's go. But you have another class to do. Confirm with the PI. Is that?
Perceive that this smell is not always home, then you know that you are actually right with your
process. But when you see that it's actually it's not coming from them, sorry, you've gone wrong or you have to still wait, then you have to make those everything we said, laws and everything, it has to get to a state that it is not cluster again. It is not cluster again. It is all of them can be easily broken, easily broken into smaller pieces. But if it's still packed together, you cannot use it. You still have to dab it with water. Dabbing it with water is not like you soaking it with water. Just little water, you dab it with water, just for moist, because it must not be dry too. So then when you observe that is our maggots coming out from it, then you know that you are actually doing the right thing. And as I've said, avoid any dairy products, milk, meat, fish, whatever that you know is a dairy product, just avoid it. Then keep turning. So, and at that time, you will have noticed that the color like you be seeing from it is dark brown or black. Dark brown or black. And remember I said you can put your shops and then leave. By that time, your shops and leaves must have decomposed. You will not see them again as your shops and leaves. They will have decomposed. You will not see them as your shops and your leaves. They will have decomposed. It will look like, let's say, dark soil. That's how it will look like. So when you do it that way, you know you are doing the right thing. And when you want to apply on your farm, you can apply. You are supposed to apply when you clear up your land. When you clear up your land, you apply it. Then when you apply it, it depends on what you want to plant, but it's better you plow it to your soil. You plow it so that it can mix with the soil, both the top soil and the little part of the soil. Like let's say 5 centimeter to 2 centimeter part of the soil. So you have to plow it so that it will mix with the soil. So when you plant, your plant can get all these nutrients from it. And I've said, the nutrients you get from there, you will get your nitrogen, your phosphorus, your potassium from it. The other aspect we're going into is green manure. So our green manure is a process of you planting your green plant, majorly your legumes plant. And the main reason why you are planting it, you are not planting to harvest it. You are planting between 2 to 3 weeks. 2 to 3 weeks, your legume has shoot out. Or you can leave a bit. You can still leave to 5 weeks of maturity. But it's better you do it early. But you can, and when you see that the leaves are shooting out, then you plow it back to the soil. The purpose of you planting that your legumes is because you want to plow it back. You can use your cowpea, and you can also use all these cover crops. You can use your sun herbs. There are different legumes that you can use that enrich the soil. So when you plow it back, it decomposes with the soil. Decompose with the soil when you plow it back, and because we know our legume has this nitrogen fixed bacteria, which actually help in the formation of nitrogen. So through the root nodules, the root nodule helps the formation of nitrate, and from there the plant needs the nitrite when you plant it. So you have to plow it back. Then this is actually quicker because if you know legumes, they are easier to decompose. They are very, very easy to decompose. If you plow it back, they decompose easily. So you have to wait for a while before you plant your actual plant on it. And this process, I felt like for a farmer, it actually helps the farmer too, because at the process of you plowing it back, it helps you to loosen the hard soil. The hard soil, it helps you to loosen it. Apart from you losing the hard soil, we know our legumes are cover. They are cover crops, and cover crops actually helps in reducing of erosion, because you can just look at somewhere where there's actually plants covering it, or it is hard for water to move the sand, the top sand from there, because the plant will be like a hold for it. Then it keeps the soil moisture. The soil moisture, it helps the soil, because if you happen to, for example, let's use cowpea, just cut the leaves, and you can see if you cut it, you can just rub it on your hand, you see the amount of liquid you find in it, compared to you just taking a random grass, or don't let us use the random grass. Let's say you take any, let's say corn, maize, you just cut it, then you can do that as well, put it on your palm, rub it, and you just, from there you can see which has more moist in both leaves. So legumes are they have much content of moist. Then it helps to suppress weed, because legumes, the way they come out, their leaves are broad, like this broad. So when they don't give room for weed to grow at that same point, so that will also help. And the main reason why we are saying this is for our own yield. It is for great yield, because the main reason why farmer is planting, apart from you feeding your family, if you are a subsistence farmer, you can just say because you want to feed your family. People subsistence farmers too, they little from what they plant, they still take it to the market to make money. But for a commercial farmer, the main reason why you are planting is to make money. So this will cut down your cost and will make you have good yield. So, and this, I feel like this will help us a lot.
Your time remains 2 minutes. It's supposed to take for 15 minutes. I think you have considered that time. But I give you 2 minutes.
This can also be used for a land that you actually been planting. You actually been planting on it for a longer time. For you to have good yields from that land, instead of you abandoning that land, those plants will use on it. Then you plow, then you get your land fertile again. So there's no need for you to be worried that I've been planting on this land and this might affect my yield. If you do that, you yourself will enjoy that land, because it will fertile easily from you using your brain manure. That is you plowing back to the soil. Thank you. If you have a question.
You that refuse to applaud her. A very question. Torí kò yé yín nìyẹn, ẹ dẹ̀ máa gbé ìdílé.
No question.
Praise the Lord. How can we
it down as a farmer from the word grain. When we hear grain, what, as a farmer, what should come to our mind?
Farmer point of view.
So, it is plant. So, from the word grain, if you check our most plants, they call, like, adding reusing plant that is grain. There is, but adding reusing plant that is not grain. So, green manure is a manure getting from a green plant. What plant? It's not just any plant. As I said cover plants like legumes, small herbs, so yes, many of them. So it's done in a way that you plant purposely because you want it to fertilize you plant them purposely because you want it to fertilize your land. You want your land to be fertile by planting it. So when you plant, you can plant for 3 weeks or 5 weeks. Then you plow it back to the soil. You use your plow to incorporate it back into the soil. And when you incorporate it back, it decays. So when it decays, the nutrients gotten from it, because there's nitrogen-fixed bacteria in the root nodules. It helps in combination of nitrite. So, and the plant actually uses it for its own formation of.
The plant you're talking about, what's the name of that plant?
It can be your EPA, EWA, like that some apps that I said, the Indians, the Asians, and all that eat. We don't have to eat it here. I don't know if they grow it here. It's mostly Asians and that's all. Thank you very much.
Auntie, what about your please let me help you. And also, all of you, as you are doing it group by group, you did not write out your names there. How will I know the people that are involved? How will I now rate you? You ought to have written your name, and you are giving me your write-up. You will include your names there, so that I will know that these are the people that belong to this group. Or else I will not be able to rate you people accordingly. Àwọn tí ìwé test wọ́n wà lọ́wọ́ mi níjọ́ yẹn ṣe òkè tí ṣe majority ló ṣe test yẹn. Àwọn tórúkọ wà lọ́wọ́ mi kò tó gbogbo ẹni tẹ́ wà ní class, so mi ò ní mo tún máa ṣe rate. As you are giving it out to me, please make sure you put your name. Group 4, over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bakari Anima Abulaji. I'm representing Group 4. I am going to be talking about compost. Firstly, I would like to tell us what compost is. Compost is a soil-like material created from decomposed organic manure. While compost is a natural way of recycling organic waste into a nutrient-rich soil amendment called compost. All that is needed is time, some space in the garden, access to waste material that can decay easily. In a nutshell, compost, these are material that are gotten from waste or material. Instead of what we just dispose them to the environment that will be causing pollution, we can just let them decompose, then we turn them back to the soil so as to give the soil its nutrients. So benefit of compost. Number 1, environmental benefits. Number 1, it reduces waste. divert organic material from landfill, which in turn reduce the amount of waste that end up in the landfill. Some of these waste, instead of us burying them into the soil now, incurring another. Okay, environmental benefit of compost. It reduces waste, divert organic material from landfill, which in turn reduce the amount of waste that end up in landfill. Instead of digging the land to bury some of this compost, to like in the course of our waste management, we do landfilling. We bury some of these waste materials into the soil. So instead of burying them to the soil, you can just pack them in one place, then convert them into compost, which is what rich in nutrients that is useful for the soil. Then another second benefit of it is combat climate change. Compost prevents the use of potent methane gas from landfill and can sequester carbon in the soil. So instead of leaving this waste in the environment, which causes environmental pollution, when we compost, when we pack them together, compost them to be used for the soil. So it helps us to save the climate. It saves us from the climate change. Another one is the decreased chemical use. Provide a natural alternative to synthetic fertilizer which can harm the ecosystem. Using this compost, it's an alternative to synthetic fertilizer which helps to us produce a safe food for our consumption. Another one is improved water quality. Reduces runoff of nutrients and pollutants from treated areas and can help with stormwater management. For instance, in an area where they apply chemical fertilizer and in the case of rainfall, so the rain can move these chemicals into our landfill or area which helps pollute the water system. So if compost is used, so the water that will be moved from that area to the storm, it will be water that is safe for use instead of containing harmful chemical that will be harmful to our earth. Then the soil and plant benefit of compost. Number one, it improves soil structure. Lightening heavy clay soil, improves drainage and helps sandy soil retain water. Compost as an organic material, it is the food for our soil doctor like our earthworms and microorganisms. So adding this compost to our soil, it creates an habitable environment for them. So when this environment is habitable for these our soil microorganisms, it improves the activities, and through the activities they increase the quality of the soil. Then increase water retention. Healthy compost soil holds more water, which can reduce irrigation needs and mitigate drought impact. Like I've mentioned earlier on, with the activities of these our soil microorganisms, it helps to create a habitable environment for this our soil microorganisms. When this environment is habitable for them, so it increases their activities, and through their movement from one area to the other through the soil, it creates a kind of an aeration to the soil. So it allows movement in and out of water and air. It boosts facilities, add essential nutrients and beneficial microorganisms to the soil, which supports all these food. Like I've mentioned, it's more or less like the second part too. Adding this compost to the soil now is an essential nutrient that's beneficial to these microorganisms, because when these microorganisms, when they see their food, so they would like to come to that place, and with their activities, it improves the soil structure and thereby improving the fertility of the soil. Another one is it promotes plant health, leads to healthy plant, more resilient plants, reduce disease, risk of pests and diseases. When the soil is healthy, with the application of this compost to the soil, so invariably our plants will be able to get the nutrients they need in the soil, and hereby making them to be healthy, and they will not be susceptible to any disease. Another one is it increases the yield. When the soil is healthy and the plants are able to get the nutrients they want, so thereby we are going to get a bountiful harvest from our plants. Economic benefits of compost. Reduces cost. Save money by reducing or eliminating the need for synthetic fertilizer and soil amendment. With the use of compost, it saves all the money of buying synthetic fertilizer to boost the productivity of our plant. Another one, it saves money on waste disposal. In commercial settings, diverting organic can lower landfill fees. For instance, now let's say we we want to dispose waste in an organization, instead of looking for people that will come and help us pack it to where it's supposed to be. You can just tell somebody, if someone is doing compost, you can just tell the person to come and just pack it, and that will save us the money of paying for people that will help us to manage the waste. The last point is the means of generating income, composting service, composting education and services and waste collection. As an expert in compost making now, I can be making compost for sale to organic growers, and I can educate people on compost production and get paid. Then types of compost. Basically, we have different types of compost, but for this presentation, I'll be talking about just 2 types of compost, which are green compost and vermicompost. Green compost. This is the type of compost that is derived from natural green vegetation that is nitrogen rich, typically wet or recently growing material, overflowing with organic content, which helps to improve tire soil, which leads to increase in yield. Basically, this type of compost is majorly because the major ingredient for this compost production is our green plant. Let's say we do our land clearing now. Instead of burning them, you can just chop all these green leaves, or we pull them from the trees, pack them to one place, add some other materials to it, then we get our compost, which is used to improve the soil fertility. Materials needed for green compost. These are grass clippings, kitchen scraps, vegetables and waste, garden trimmings, coffee grounds, waste that have not gone to seed, animal manure. Number 1, I said the grass clips. Some of these grasses that will come from our bush clearing, so we can just pack them together. Kitchen crafts, when we pick our ewedu for, so instead of throwing the sticks away, we pack them together to make compost. Then the food waste, maybe after eating our banana, instead of throwing the peels into the environment, we pack them together. Then watermelon, some of us we don't eat the back of the watermelon. Instead of just throwing them into the environment and we contaminating the environment, some of these materials, they are being packed together to do what we do compost. Then garden trimmings. Let's say we have overgrown vegetation in our gardens on our plant. So we trim some of these trimmings from our gardens. Some of these trimmings from our gardens, they are added to compost material. Then we have the coffee ground. Then weeds again. Let's say we are holding our garden now. Some of us, if you are not using chemicals to control our weeds, if you are doing weeding, so some of those weeds, instead of getting them to one place, like pouring them in the road path, you can just pack them together, combine with other ingredients, use as what our green manure, which is beneficial to the soil. Then another material that we have to use is animal manure. So some of these materials listed, they are used for what? Our green compost. But the major material that is needed is what? This green plant. So let's say we're in the course of our compilation of our compost, so the percentage of the green material should be like 70 to 80%. Steps in making green compost. Number 1, chop or shred the grass trimming and young weed for easy decomposition. Let's say we have weeds that are long like this, so we can just chop them into tiny pieces for easy decomposition. Then we put all these materials in a trench or container. Let's say we have access to land now. We can just dig a small area, put all these materials in there. But if you don't have access to it, you can get some of these drums or some of our linking valves or drums that are not using at home again, instead of burning them. So we perforate some of them. If they are not well perforated, we put some of our put these materials there. Then again, we ensure that we moisture the content. Our compost should not be dry, because some of these microorganisms that aid in the decomposition, they need water for us to perform the activity. Another one is we ensure that we turn the compost every day for 7 days, so as to improve the aeration to allow air to enter it. Then we ensure that we cover it with black nylon. Sorry, we didn't complete the sentence. We cover with the black nylon so that it will generate heat, which aids the decomposition. Then we leave afterward for 7 days or more until when it is fully decomposed. Benefit of green compost. It is cost effective because the material is easily available. Majority of the materials that we need to do this compost, they are what we get in the environment. If at all you don't even have it, you can just go to some people that maybe when they clear their farm, they will be looking for who to even help them with the packing on it. You can just go there, pack some of those things or trim some of the trees so you go and use in your own farm as a garden. It increases the microbial population in the soil, which is what healthy soil. Like I've mentioned earlier on, compost, this is a food to our soil doctor, which are the earthworms and the microorganisms. So when these microorganisms, when they see the food that they like, definitely they will all be coming to that area. So adding compost to the soil now, it increases the microbial population because the environment is habitable for them to try because they have something for their sustainability. The second compost that we're talking about is vermicompost. Vermicompost is an effective and natural method of recycling organic waste using earthworm. These small creatures break down organic material like scraps, plant residue into a rich dark substance called vermicompost or worm casting. These castings are high in minerals like nitrate, phosphorus, magnesium, calcium, potassium. It is used to enrich soil, improve soil health, and boost growth and yield. This type of compost is majorly the food scrap that is used in processing them. And the food scrap, they don't decompose on their own. We introduce earthworm, a particular species of earthworm. So the earthworm, when they eat this food and they excrete, it is their excrete that is called the worm cast, which is what the plants will need as a nutrient, and it is rich in various nutrients that we mentioned before. Steps in making vermicompost. Number one is set up a bin. Select a bin with a lid so that the plastic storage tub or special compost bin. Then we ensure that we perforate that bin so that the water from the composition will be coming out. Then we prepare the bedding. We have to prepare the cover this perforated area with dry leaves or cardboard so that these earthworms that will introduce the compost, they will not go out of the container. Then we introduce the worm. Get compost warming. Feed and maintain the compost. Add food scraps. Feed the worms regularly. Bury food scraps under the bedding to prevent pests like flies. Avoid certain food. Do not add meat, dairy product or oily food. Maintain moisture. Keep the bedding moist but not soggy. Add more dry bedding if it gets too wet. Add more layers. Continue adding layers of organic waste as the worm process the food. Harvest the compost. Wait for the compost to mature. The vermicompost will be ready for harvest after 4 months, depending on the size of the bin and the population of the worm. Sieve and store. Sieve the vermicompost to remove any large particles and return them to the bin. Air dry the finished product before use or storage. Benefit of vermicompost. Number one, save and assist to produce in a small area. Like I said, you can use a small container in our place today. Then it reduces household waste. All these our waste product from the household like papers, cardboard, our vegetable waste product, instead of just throwing them to the environment to contaminate, so we use them as our compost. Building materials like dry leaf paper serve as food for the fungi. Basically, fungi they like hard substance. So adding this dry material paper to our vermicompost, it makes our compost to be fungi dominated, which serve as the immunity to the soil and prevent them against any fungi infection. It reduces the need for chemical fertilizer. Like I mentioned, this compost, it has magnesium, calcium and other beneficial nutrients, and it's what the plants need for the optimal performance. So doing this type of compost, it reduces the need for chemical fertilizer. Then it helps to prevent environmental pollution, thereby safeguarding the public health. Thank you for listening.
Any questions? Any questions? Yes.
that was a wonderful presentation. You made mention of fungi liking art surfaces. Can you please discuss this?
I said it is not my word, it's from a research. Yeah, fungi they like hard substances like dried matter, dried substances. So if you are combining your compost, if you have more of dry materials there, so basically the compost or the fertilizer it will do was a fungi dominated one. So fungi will be more in that. So applying that kind of a compost to the soil, now you know it is fungicide, and this fungicide they are beneficial one. You understand? They are like the immune system. So when you apply it to the soil, so the harmful one that are in the soil that might affect the plants that you plant. So when you add this type of compost to the soil, they help provide antagonist effect to the harmful ones. Okay, fami compost eléyìí tí mo sọ ó ní wípé mo gbọ́ lárúbáwá. Ó ní àwọn nǹkan tí à ń lò nínú ilé bóyá a gé ẹ̀fọ́ àwọn fúsì à ń jẹ aṣọ oko wa nítorí àti máa sún níná so a máa pack àwọn gases yẹn a máa pack àwọn gases yẹn a máa pack together a máa combine other materials with them so tí wọ́n bá jẹrà a máa lọ apply sí orí soil wa so tó bá ti jẹrà òun ló máa jẹ oúnjẹ fún àwọn kòkòrò tó wà ní inú ilẹ̀ tó jẹ́ pé àwọn iṣẹ́ tó máa ṣe ní pé lílọ bíbọ̀ wọn bọ́ ṣe ń gbé inú ilẹ̀ yẹn wọ́n ń jẹ́ kí ilẹ̀ wa kó máa lọ́ràá sí i so tí a bá apply compost yẹn sí inú ilẹ̀ ó máa jẹ́ kí kán lè máa wà ńbẹ̀ ó dàbí pé ibi tí ẹ má bínú sàkéwò rẹ̀ lọ ẹ lọ síbi kan sì yìí wọ́n ṣe yí dáadáa ń bẹ̀ ẹ bá fẹ́ máa lọ síbẹ̀ ògbà yìí fáwọn tí máa invite àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ yín wá síbẹ̀ so bọ̀ tó bá jẹ́ wípé chemical ni a fi sílẹ̀ because it is believed that some of these synthetic fertilizers they are salt based so tó bá yẹ pé iyọ̀ ó dàbí pé à ń bu iyọ̀ sí ekòló ni ṣé mo pé ekòló ó máa kú bọ̀ tó bá jẹ́ wípé àwọn oúnjẹ tí wọ́n láìkì ni wọ́n máa ṣe kí ni wọ́n máa láìkì láti máa dúró sí ibẹ̀.
Any question after this? No question. As I'm stressing it, mo fẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ kọ orúkọ ní sí gúúpù yìí kí n bá lè mọ̀ pé àwọn tó wà nínú gúúpù yìí. So tomorrow we are meeting again. I want all of you to go home, read something on solid waste, liquid waste and air waste. Here, AIR, air waste. So that when you come here tomorrow, as I'm throwing questions to you concerning it, you'll be able to reciprocate. You'll be able to feed me back. Solid, liquid, and air. AIR. Air waste. So we meet tomorrow by God's grace.
So please, let's comply with the payments for our end of the year party. So we are having it tomorrow. Tomorrow is lots of fun. Say yeah. Pay 1,000 naira per head. Please and please. You can pay to display, or you can pay to any of it.
So the account number to pay to 012284079. What's for the phone or what about you? Our first house.
Thank you.